did not mind stepping out of the shadows. Did not mind even being in the shadows to begin with. So long as he was with me. My friend, through so many dangers. Who had fought for me when no one else would. Even myself.
Hi, and welcome to Twin Flames Between Worlds podcast. My name is Tabitha.
And I'm Liesl.
And hi, welcome back to A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas.
Woo!
Welcome back. Oh my goodness. So today is so exciting. We've been talking and we've been thinking. So we're going to restructure our episodes. I know in terms of being more structured, because we were talking off camera and it's like, just because everybody's brains are different, right? So I know, because we get excited about graphic audio, but sometimes people don't know the graphic audio. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a quick recap at the top of our episodes now. And we're going to have a graphic audio circle at the end where we talk about our moments where we listened to the graphic and thought they were great instead of sprinkling them throughout, because I know sometimes that can be a little bit distracting. Especially for people that haven't read it.
Right.
Or listen to it. So yeah, apologies if we sound a little bit. I got sinus infection this weekend.
And then I've kind of been on and off vocal rest this week because choir is hard.
Yeah, so apologies if we're sounding, we're good to go. We're really excited about today's episode, but we sound a little bit off.
There's a lot to cover.
So yeah, we have a lot to cover. This might be a little bit long, but we are ready to rock and roll, baby. So last time on A Court of Mist and Fury, we were in the summer court. We stole the book. Tarquin was a little bit upset about that.
Well, just a little bit.
Just a little bit upset. We saw a naked Rhysand in a nightmare, and now we're here. So we're going to be covering chapters 39 through the end of 44. And so we start out, back at the good old night court, but we don't stay there long. We then travel to the human world again, where we have a interesting and totally relatable, great conversation between the human queen. I wish that's how it turned out. It did not. It went as horribly as probably everyone thought it was going to. So we don't stay. So after that disappointment, we head back to Belarus, and not too far after that we finally visit the hewn city, the Court of Nightmares.
And truly the nightmares that live in it.
Which you'd think it's gonna go one way in terms of how nightmarish it is, but with Rhysand there, doesn't really turn into a nightmare.
Nah.
And sprinkled along the way, we find some new lore and we find out more about characters and all that, so that's gonna be great. At the end of chapter 44 is Starfall, the annual night court tradition that this is a thing now in, normal life where people are starting to have Starfall balls, and we have never been invited.
Literally, Gabriel just posted about Starfall Ball that's happening in New York.
I know, they're going, and Henry he's going to the one in Denver. What the fuck?
Why?
Why weren't we invited?
I live in Colorado. Why can't I be home during that time? I mean, even if I could, though, the tickets sold out so quickly.
Yeah, you know what? We'll go to the Starfall Ball eventually, but
yes,
we have to wait for that. So
we'll get there enough. We'll be invited because we're doing so great.
Oh yeah,
We'll be friends with everyone.
I have the perfect dress. You have the perfect outfit. We need to go. So yeah, we'll be ending at Starfall. So let's just kick right into it, guys.
Ooh, it's gonna be a long one, but let's hold on for the ride.
Right. So we started chapter 39. We just saw Rhysand's nightmare. Or sorry, we didn't see it, but
we could kind of guess.
Yes. So we flashed to the next afternoon where we're in Amryn's apartment, and we knew that she had a residence outside of the House of Wind, but we've never been been to it. It's very much described like a studio apartment.
Mm-hmm. It's so Amren, honestly.
I didn't think she'd want something like big and pompous anyway. Also, they would kill each other if they lived in the same place.
That's true. That's true. They kind of already bicker enough at it as it is. But I like how she says that she's tried like rich and fancy and just doesn't like it.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Because it's almost like that old woman that's like, yeah, I've tried everything. You know what? I like living by myself. I love just these little quips of Amren's. I just love. It's just like, did his darkness fill you in? It's another constant reminder about how different the hierarchy is here. And I just love how it's a constant thing. Good on Feyre. Feyre brought Amren fresh blood. What a good friend.
That's a way to get to her.
It's like, I like how it's genuine, but at the same time, I don't think Amren was at all expecting her to do so.
Oh, no.
Not at all.
Definitely not.
So, as they're speaking, Feyre has a flashback about her talking to Rhys in their note form, right? And so, of course, he's like very sweet. He's like, thank you for last night. No, thank you.
The helping out of the dream, and also maybe the kiss.
Oh, yeah, and then the subsequent, what the hell is our relationship? It's like when you make a move on somebody and you're just like, wait, I acknowledge what happened, or wait.
Do we just keep ignoring it and keep waltzing around it?
And so, of course, we don't. We ignore it.
Of course.
I'm saying we as in us, as in Feyre. We're all living vicariously.
We are Feyre.
Mm-hmm. So we finally figure out what Rhys's tattoos mean on his knees. The Night Court insignia on his knees. That he will bow before no one and nothing but his crown.
Which is so epic.
100%. Also dramatic.
It is so Rhys-Anne to get tattoos on his knees and be like, I bow for no one but my crown. It's like, okay, we see you.
Well, and then I was thinking again when I was rereading this time, I was like, wait, hasn't he like gotten on one knee before her? Like, hasn't he bowed technically for her?
I think he has. Yeah. In a way, technically, yes, he has. Because wasn't he kneeling down before the Weaver's cottage?
Yeah.
He was on his knees then. And even brought it up of like, did you like seeing me kneel before you?
I know. Like, so he's perpetuating that she's kneeling. Maybe that technically wasn't a bow, but I'm counting it. I'm counting it because he was on his knees.
I'd count it.
It's such a reverse, the whole really gross thing in real life, girls on their knees.
Right. Now we've got Rhys on his knees.
Yes, make the guy get on his knees for once. So after that little flashback, we're back to Amren really liking the blood that she got. Feyre does ask a good question, though. She's like, do you drink human blood?
She still got that human part in her asking about that.
I'm just kind of curious.
Like, I don't know if I want to know the answer, but...
Right. So apparently human blood is disgusting. It's like how they last ate or whatever.
Gross.
I'm just, this whole time, they're talking about that. I know it's like surface level. I'm just really wondering where Amren's from. Is she a vampire? Is she some sort of otherworldly creature we know? I'm wondering what kind of... I have a pretty vast lore knowledge, so I'm trying to think of what creature she is.
I definitely originally was thinking like some kind of vampire mix, maybe a vampire mutation, something like that. But like obviously in an ACOTAR way, in a fairy way.
Right.
But I have no idea. But like that's what I was definitely thinking of, because I know we talked about it at that first family dinner. What does she eat? And we're definitely like blood or flesh or something. And now we know she drinks blood. So it's like, okay, what kind of creature is she really?
Right. Which is the ever-loving question. It's one of those things where I know we're not going to figure it out till it becomes prevalent, because I knew this was something we weren't going to figure out in this book. It's not important to the story at the current moment.
Right.
But it's something that I feel like is going to come up later. So
it has to, right?
Right. Please. Sarah, these ever-loving questions that we never get answers to, I would love to know. But yes, you brought up, yes. So Amren tells Feyre that she lived in riches before, but that she enjoys the apartment by the river, and especially because she doesn't like servants.
Which I kind of find cute.
Which kind of makes sense. I was thinking about Noelle and Caradwen, why they had to draw sticks. She probably just doesn't like servants, and then is not doesn't like them, doesn't respect them. But I can do it myself, damn it.
Right.
So she also sees, very pointedly, that she is using the blood ruby that Tarquin gave her as a paperweight.
Duh. What else do you use giant rubies for?
How much she just doesn't give a fuck about anyone else.
I mean, she basically collects jewels at that point, so it's no surprise that she has a paperweight that's a literal jewel.
Right. So Feyre is also very observant, and so she's looking around the room. But what do we see? The diamond ruby necklace that Feyre saw in Adriata, that she said would only be meant for a mighty female, is now sitting on Amren's bedside.
The bedside table, not just any other table.
Yeah, not another one in the house, the bedside. Important distinction.
Very.
So, Amren, who gave that to you?
Well, it's a family heirloom, so also one of the family, probably.
So Varian gifted her the necklace to soften Tarquin's declaration of war, basically.
Now, some people could argue that he was doing that to protect Adriata from Amren's wrath. I could see another option as well.
Isn't this confirmed for us specifically, which is like, we knew it! What more proof do you need?
It basically is. I think when I read this moment, it was definitely like, oh yeah, it's all coming together.
I feel like that's like the Kronk thing.
Yeah.
The Kronk meme.
That's what I was going for. It's like, oh yeah, it's all coming together.
I think what's funny about that is I feel like they kissed. In a weird way, I don't think they fucked when they were in summer, but I feel like they definitely kissed. Or at least had like a good necking session. You know what I mean?
They did something intimate.
Yes, something intimate. Yeah, it's like, okay, she's like, I don't think he knows if he hates me or wants me. It's like, we feel that, bro.
Yeah, although we're not getting lavish jewelry.
Oh, fuck, dude. We only date poor men.
Sad.
As of recently. Well, especially when you date in college, like, you're all dating poor men at that point.
Because you're all poor in general.
Actually, no, there was a guy that, I was talking to that had a car in college, and he had, like, a lot of money.
Oh my god, he had a car?
I had no idea. Anyway, so this is where we get to the kind of weeks passing. So they're living in Valaris, things are going on, weeks are passing by, Amren's relearning the language, Az is still trying to spy on the mortal queens, and Cassian and Feyre are training every morning at the top of the House of Wind.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is cool that we're seeing another kind of time skip thing, because we haven't really seen that since in the first book when Feyre was getting to know Tamlin.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to see another time skip, like a montage.
And I think something in my mind that I was thinking about as this montage is going on is, remember, Feyre and Rhysand are in the townhouse, and apparently Amren's at her apartment.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is going up the House of Wind with Mor, Azriel, and Cassian? Is all I'm wondering.
They're either having a party or gambling.
Well, we're also like assuming that they stay there. I mean, that's kind of like what they said, but I wonder if they even do. It's like a subtle question that I don't really think is important, but it's kind of important to bring up.
And for some, like, I get the feeling that they don't necessarily always all stay there at once. Like, it's just because it's, they have all of their jobs related to what, their stations. So it's like, I feel like oftentimes it's like, yeah, that's where they stay, but they're not always there together all the time.
Yeah, that makes it. It's like not a halfway house. That's not a right way to say it. It's like home base more than anything. It's not like a house.
It's like a headquarters that you come back to or something to regroup, and then like you go and restock everything.
Right. So so we don't really get like a training montage, but we get an explanation of the training montage. Mm-hmm. So she's starting to learn how to wield an actual blade, an Illyrian blade. Badass.
Dang, she's learning quickly.
We've only seen her like with a bow and or her magic. Like, it's kind of cool that she's getting an actual weapon.
Right. And learning how to actually use it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm seeing fighting in the future.
Yeah, unfortunately that is a clue of like, hey, yeah, there actually will be some like hand-to-hand or close combat melee fighting if she's learning how to use a sword. Sarah's dropping hints.
100%. I think what's also important about this montage is that Feyre brings up that Cassian has gone multiple times to... Sorry, I'm only laughing because multiple times to Feyre's house in the Mortal Lands. He went to go ask Nesta and Elaine if they got anything back from the Mortal Queens, and he comes back and he is riled. Really upset.
Picture that first dinner they had together when Ness and Cass almost started fighting right then and there. It's like that, but like worse.
It's so important to bring up for his character, though, because he is the cool, collected guy. The one that doesn't get riled up by anything. You have to pick at him a lot for him to even get, riled up. The fact that...
Right. He can take a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm. Immediate when talking to Nesta.
Dang, she really do be getting under his skin.
I just love how Feyre and I, and probably you too, all had the same thoughts. Just like, yeah, maybe Cassian and Varian should compare notes.
Yeah.
I was definitely thinking throughout this whole book, if Nesta and Amren ever met, that would be volatile.
Oh yeah, that'd be dangerous.
The world would end. That is
scary.
So then also, because she's training with Cassian on physical abilities, she's also training with Rhys on her magical abilities, right?
Mm-hmm. She's got to be well-rounded.
We finally, which I'm actually kind of proud of Rhys here. Like, he's not only teaching her abilities, but he is teaching her about the High Lords of Prythian. So we finally get everybody's name for all the High Lords.
Mm-hmm.
We have Baron, the High Lord of Autumn. Of course, Tamlin, High Lord of Spring. Tarquin, Summer. We get Halia, the High Lord of the Winter Court. We get Helion, Bellcleaver of the Day Court. I feel bad. They never mention his name, but I wanted to mention it to you all since we all got the names together. They forgot about Thief Thesean of the Dawn Court. So we finally get all their names and who they are. And so we learn actually a cool thing about the Day Court is that Helion has a famous, apparently, 1,000 libraries.
Dang, he got those libraries of Alexandria.
Excuse me, sir. Don't tell that to a book lover.
I know, it's like book talk. Helion's coming for you.
Has everything you could ever imagine. I'm staying in the Day Court rep. As they're touching each of the powers, right? They don't touch anything with Spring because obviously it's a very touchy, raw subject right now. Because the powers are so... Because I don't think I understood it at first. I was like, why does it really matter? The reason he's teaching about the High Lords with powers, because that is their power. It is... Once you learn more about them and you learn about it, then you'll learn more about power.
If you learn where the power came from, you can understand the power and utilize it better.
So, of course, she doesn't want to touch Spring because...
She's already touched Spring.
Yeah, and that didn't really go so well.
Spring for now.
Interesting thing you bring that up, though, because something else in this montage that I want to highlight is she talks about how now she's tired from all training. Not because she's doing so much now. Her nightmares are no longer haunting her at night anymore.
Because she's just so tired.
Mm-hmm. Which is healthy in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, because you're doing things, you're getting tired so that you can actually have REM sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Not they know about REM sleep.
They're getting better sleep than I am. Maybe I just need some hot Illyrian men to train me all day.
I mean, I think we all wish for that. I think we all wish.
Better sleep.
I had a really bad joke with that, but I'm not going to say it. I think this is something that you brought up, and I wanted to highlight it as, you know, I like this sort of romance where, yeah, she's having these intimate moments with Rhysand, but whenever she's not with Rhys, her and Amren, and, like, she's hanging out with Amren in her apartment, or she's walking around Valaris with Mor.
Mm-hmm.
That is girl power at its best, where it's just like, yeah, even though there's, like, hot men in my life,
it's not her whole life.
Not that anyone would know about hot men in our lives.
Like, just because I have a bunch of hot guys in my life doesn't mean that they're my whole life.
She's doing stuff for herself and not, you know, just for the others. Which I feel like is something to bring up about other books that I've read, where it's, you know, the girl is constantly with the guy and there's not really, you know...
No time for independence.
No time for independence, but also, or their boyfriend or the guy that they're with, their romance is kind of their whole life. It's not really until they're, like, established that they even have moments like... I'm glad that not established in a romance yet, and we're getting that already.
Right.
It's more growth than anything. It's a very healthy way of looking at it.
It is. They have such a healthy, like, friendship relationship, kind of figuring out what their ship is.
A situationship?
Yeah, but it's at times it's more than a situationship, and at times it's less than a situationship.
I had no idea what that meant, by the way. This is how off I am social media sometimes. Even as a social media director, I'm off sometimes. Like, how's a situationship? Okay, that kind of makes sense. But so, when one day Mor and her are out shopping, as she's describing in this flashback, Rhys is grossly overpaying her. She looked in her bank account one time, and we didn't get a number, but way too much money.
First of all, I really want to know the number, but also I'm curious to learn about the currency in the Fey world.
Yeah, we don't really talk, like, is it gold? Is it just, you know, bartering? Or, like, I feel like it had to be gold if we're talking fantasy.
It probably is. I mean, it was mentioned at the very beginning of the first book, you know, in the human world, they use gold and silver and copper pieces.
Yeah.
But, well, do the Fey use those as well? We don't know. So I was also curious about that. But also, yes, I want to know, like, is he, like, a multi-billionaire? Probably. If
he's the, like, quote-unquote, even though they don't have kings, but if he's, like, the king of his own and he's the leader of his own territory, I'm going to assume that he's, like, loaded.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, he can pay his whole inner circle for all of their crazy things.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Also, on the days when he's not there in this flashback, he still contacts her through the notes. Which is so freaking adorable. Again, not that I like to compare, but...
It's hard not to.
Remember the beginning of beginning of this book. Anytime Tamlin would be away, it'd be radio silent. There was no communication, like he'd just be gone for a couple of weeks, and then he'd come back. It doesn't seem like Rhys is being gone for that long.
It doesn't matter. He's still using notes every single day, regardless.
He's finding magic in a way to communicate with her, you know, because usually in these fantasy, it's by Raven or by whatever, but these fuckers have magic. You can find some way of getting a message to somebody, and he's doing that 100%.
He's putting the effort in to talk to her.
And it's sweet because this is like the pre-romance, like the friendship that you were talking about. He's talking to her about other things. He's asking her about her painting and, you know, about her life, and that's beautiful. I love it to death. It's so cute. So when he asks her about the painting, she gives gives us a little bit of dialogue here. She's like, all she wanted to do was be able to keep her family fed and paint. But that part of her was empty now. But the night with Reese, all those weeks ago or wherever that is, might have slowly started to change that.
Yeah, because she actually saw a picture that she wanted to make.
Which is something we notice in this section as we keep going along, because we notice a couple times where she starts to actually think about painting.
Or color, at least, noticing color.
Which is a good thing to bring up.
And it seems like often she doesn't even notice that she's noticing the color.
Oh, yeah. So, on that same vein, she asks him, did he ever want to be the High Lord? What a good fucking answer that he gives her. He's like, yes and no. I saw my father rule, knew from a young age that I did not want to be like, so I decided to be a different sort of High Lord. I wanted to protect my people, change the perception of the Illyrians, and eliminate corruption that plagued the land.
Ooh.
What a vision. That's a lot to, first of all, a lot to do in your lifetime.
Even if they have long lifetimes, change doesn't happen that quickly.
Right. And, she brings it up, but we were also thinking at the same time, this is so different than Tamlin. The whole first book, he talked about resenting being the High Lord, how it was never supposed to be his responsibility, how it was more of a burden, him being it, than a way of change. Versus Reese is seeing it as a passion, as a vision, as something he wants to make better. I love this. And so at the end of this the only important thing I wanted to add at the end of this little, montage is that when they're sending letters back and forth, she calls him one hell of a, it's like when you're getting too passionate with somebody and then you're just like, yeah, you're one hell of a High Lord. And she has to stop herself and then he's like, one hell of a High Lord. What do you mean?
What does that mean?
That's the kind of funny romance that I want. This kind of romance is what I envision for myself in real life.
Where it can be awkward, but not so awkward that it's you don't know what to do.
Yeah, funny if anything.
Yeah.
Her stutteringness or her lack of being able to respond in a cohesive way sometimes makes it even more endearing. So, finally back to the present day. And guess who wrote back? The Queens. Finally, yeah. And they're going to the fam's estate. So
they took their time getting back to him.
Oh, yeah. And, of course we learned that was intentional. I gave these bitches the benefit of the doubt at first, and I feel so bad doing that.
Bitches. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I understand. So, more Cassian and Azriel are also going to be there as well. So, we're setting the scene. The two sisters are kind of in the corner in their finery. More Cassian and Azriel are kind of stationed around. And Reese and Feyre, first of all, they're wearing, nice things. They're wearing nice finery. They're both wearing matching crowns.
Not just each of them have their own crown, but they're matching.
Did no one pick up the crown thing? Because I feel like I noticed that right off the bat.
I started noticing it because of the very first time when you're like, crown?
Because I think it was, maybe it's because I have a thing for crowns. I have a bunch of them. I think I pick up fashionably, when crowns are said. And so I'm like, oh, why is she wearing a crown? I mean, and I know we'll get to it, but something one of the queens says is an emissary wearing a crown? I'm like, yeah, I mean, she's kind of right.
What? Why don't put your emissaries in crowns?
It's yeah, why would an emissary be wearing it doesn't make any sense. Because Moore isn't wearing one, the boys aren't wearing one, doesn't make any sense to.
Oh, darn it. I just thought of the boys in tiaras.
They probably did so once on a drunken night or something.
Oh, 100%.
So yeah, the queens kind of send a bunch of demands, right? The queens asked for no weapons, they wanted to know the exact time, exact place. Geographical location, we're talking about minutes.
And even more than that, they wanted the description of the room. Why?
Or in the time was 11, no earlier, no later, right on the dot. It was sus to me, and that's a little bit scary. What's going to happen? Before that I get to what happened, I do want to say that as she's describing about before they show up and they're walking around and she's placing Azriel and Cassian and more in space. I love how she keeps thinking long term about the inner circle in her life. When she brought up about, how she wants the inner circle to officially meet her sisters someday.
Right.
She's thinking in long term, she's putting them in her future. Which is a huge thing. At least to me.
Also, she wants her sisters also in her future as well.
True. Especially after all the bullshit. She still wants them there.
Dang, Feyre.
So they're placing themselves in space. It hits 11. They're thinking they're not going to show up because they're thinking they're going to come in, the normal way. They're going to knock on the door and they're going to show up. Doesn't happen like that because they directly winnow into the goddamn house.
Wait, humans winnowing?
Yeah, you're human, man. How do you have this magic power? And also, I don't really like that you have that power because because what happens if you use that?
Yep, that is scary. Humans that can winnow? Where'd you get an idea like that?
My question was, is it something where they had to like step on a platform or something, or like is they're all together? Like I don't really know what the mechanics of this, and they don't explain it because they're bitches.
They're like, haha, we have something over you.
But also, I guess, see their perspective, because like humans don't like have any sway against the Fae, and this is one thing that they have as a secret. I mean, of course they're not going to say anything,
right?
So as soon as the chapter starts, I was like, yeah, this is not going to go well, is it?
No.
This is not going to go well at all. So the description of the Mortal Queens is very much, it's a mixed bag. It's mixed race, it's mixed age.
Which is nice to see some diversity.
Yeah, very much so. And so really we get the descriptions of the rest of them, but there are really two important ones. There's the really old crone ancient bitch that keeps flapping her yap about shit. And then we have the youngest one, and she's Feyre calls her the golden-haired queen.
Oh, a golden queen. That seems nice.
I mean, even, especially when I read this the first time, I was like, even she still sounds like a bitch. They all sound bad.
She definitely seems very haughty, but like not as bad as the others.
No, I disliked the old woman the worst.
Oh yeah. Ugh.
Which we're supposed to, but you know.
But
so
like, why did it actually work?
Right. So they're kind of the main, throughout this whole thing, they're kind of really the main people that talk, right? So, I love Rhys's reaction to it. It's just, well met. Like, what else do you say to that? Of course, I love how Feyre says something like in this monologue as they're setting up, because, you know, the queens are sitting down, their guards around them, you know, the other boys coming in. Even with no weapons, they don't stand a chance against Cassian and Azriel.
No, Cassian and Az are weapons in their own. And don't they have their siphons on them?
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, literally, their siphons are their key power. They don't know that. So they're just like, well, you can't have Illyrian blades or weapons. It's like, they get taught hand to hand, right?
That, and they also can use these magic little pretty stones to make weapons.
Humans are dumb, man. Humans are really dumb.
Especially ones that let the power get to their head.
And they don't
think they have everything.
They don't stand a chance, and that's why they're putting themselves in the corner, because they have all the power, which sucks, because it has to be given willingly. What a good rule on the ancestors, but also what a bitch rule to have to deal with.
Right.
So, yes, good thing that Rhys noticed it, because I also definitely noticed it. So, as, they're sitting down, Rhys notices that there are only 5 queens present.
When there's supposed to be 6.
Yeah, there's supposed to be 6 queens. That's sus. I'm wondering about that.
And they're just like, oh, she's unwell.
Yeah, so the old one says, yeah, she's unwell. Yeah, that's what she said. So the one golden-haired queen says something about like an interesting letter that Rhys-Anne personally sent, that because like they wrote the letters, because remember, if the first time that we saw them do it, they all wrote the letter together. Right. So the fact that Rhys sent like more that were something that she didn't get to see,
right, a second one that he just sent on his own,
yeah, was a little interesting. And then Feyre clocks that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like introducing themselves. Yes, we get this really epic, the Morrigan from the war, badass. She has a the in front of her name.
Of course she does.
That's how cool she is. The Morgan.
It's like, me. It's like, they do?
Yeah, and Moore said something about, knowing the queens from the ancients. It would make sense if they knew about her directly somehow. Which, again, I will never get over this. Through this sequence of events that we know, why do they not trust? If they trusted Morrigan and she was a big ally in the war to them, and they know this, power is truth, whatever the hell, why do they not trust them? I fundamentally didn't get it, man.
Yeah, it is a little sus.
I know they have a problem with Rhys, but the fact that Moore is allying with Rhys should be a big indicator that, like, maybe he isn't bad as they seem, or as he seems.
Right.
So, anyway, as we get into it, immediately the Golden Queen, maybe I actually did like the Golden Queen at first, because she's, an emissary wearing a golden crown? Is that tradition in Prithian?
No, just for Rhys.
Yes, correct. He says, but she certainly looked good enough in one that I can't resist. I mean, and this is something I had to remind myself of rereading this again, right? Feyre is a human turned high fae who is now sitting beside a high lord's place of honor.
Yeah.
That's a lot for them to fathom.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm giving them, I shouldn't have given them as much benefit of the doubt as I did the first time, because they're just rude, but it is hard to understand. It's like, how? I want to know, what are these sequence of events and they don't even listen to her story at all. She doesn't even really get a chance.
Which is so stupid. That's why she's there, to be an emissary.
Right, and so, of course, they don't disclose how they winnow. So they're not really being open to this whole discussion. But so, of course, Rhys starts it, and he's, yeah, so there's war coming, folks. We need to all prepare, and, he's thinking, let's prepare together, let's warn the humans. They already fucking know.
They're doing jack shit.
They've known this whole time. We know war is upon us. There are no signs of preparation on this part of Prythian, because again, to remind the audience, this small part of Prythian is separate, big part of the human, because again, this territory doesn't have a queen.
Right.
The other ones do, but this one doesn't.
So small.
They do not give, thinking about how small it is, it's actually a pretty good chunk. It's probably as much as the summer or autumn court would be. I think it's literally the length of autumn and summer combined.
So literally, it just looks like the spring court.
Yeah, it's like 2 courts. Hilarious.
Like, okay, great.
They do not give jack shit about the people on this side of the wall. They're just like, nope, they're cannon fodder. They're basically last line of defense. They don't care about...
Oh yeah, like them here on Prythian, they're just our warning call so we know when to get ready.
I love how this one, the old bitch, let's call her that, because we don't get names, so we can call them whatever we want.
Yeah.
She said that it would be a waste of resources.
You know what's going to be a waste of resources? When war comes out and you're not ready for it because you didn't help out.
Yeah, I mean, even Rhys is like, even one loss of innocent life would be abhorrent over here. When you gotta think about the many, this is just a sliver of woe.
God, that annoys me so much.
So, I love how the Golden Queen says, well, why don't the High Lords of Prythian defend them? You have perpetuated this made me actually livid, dude. They know that the High Lords are actually good, because inherently they do know that they're good. They wouldn't be having this conversation if not.
Right, why else would they come?
Well, if they're good, why don't you let the High Lord of... So you have been perpetuating this narrative that these High Lords are just bad, and that you shouldn't trust them, whatever.
Because it's easy to say that.
Knowing that they hate each other, but now, when they need them, let's be all goody-good. Oof. This is the part of the book where, even though I didn't like Nesta at the beginning of this one, I was like, yes, bitch, go off.
Yeah, because they need someone to talk down to them.
So as soon as they start talking about humans, especially them being humans on said part of the continent that they just said that they don't give a shit about, she speaks up.
It's like, you're saying that anyone who lives here like good to die? Well, I live here, so fuck off.
Yeah, there are good people here. There's children here. She said, it's the choice of cowards. Ooh, hell yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I love how Feyre brings it up, because I was thinking the same thing. You hate our kind so much that you'd leave us to defend them. The one says, shouldn't they defend a threat of their own making? Excuse me.
This threat also tried to wipe out the human land 500 years ago, so I think...
What do you mean a threat of their own? They are not the same Fae. It is not like Rhysand knew the King of Hybern and somehow made him into the monster he... This isn't that kind of story,
right.
My man.
Right.
King of Hybern has always been a racist fuck, and he's always, and at this point, exterminist. Like,
yep.
I did have a feeling about the whole Nesta thing when she spoke up. I was like, yeah, it's kind of good when it's not aimed at you, isn't it? It feels kind of good when it's not. Yeah. So, of course, as Rhysand is also speaking up, we get the big kind of, not reveal, but the queens know about Rhysand. They know about him, in quotes. They've heard all the lies. They've heard all the things about what he's done. Which, first of all, how the fuck do they know about Under the Mountain? In terms, that was my big red flag. How do they know about, like, what he's done over the years? What sort of connections do they have in Prythian? It seemed like under Amarantha's rule that the queens wouldn't have no idea what was happening in Prythian.
Right. That is... Yeah, I guess I hadn't considered that, because they could have heard, because some of the Fae from Prythian ran over to the continent. Maybe they heard rumors that way, but to know, like, specifically what Rhys was doing under the mountain, that's sus.
They know about, so yeah, I mean, that's a little bit sus that they know about this, but regardless. Basically, long story short, that means they're not going to give them the half of the book at all. And there's no discussion about it.
Great.
Of course, Feyre starts to get really upset about this, because obviously, we all know that that's not true. The stuff they're saying.
Yeah.
She says, I did want to bring this up in Feyre saying, I'm God damn it, I'm the emissary, like, I need to do something. She said that she was killed by Amarant, like, she's saying that she was killed. Not just that she turned killed. And Rhys flinched.
The explicit words.
Correct. And he flinches at her words.
Just like he did with the bone carver.
It's like, yeah, did we kind of sometimes forget? I think sometimes we do forget that she got, like, just blatantly murdered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feyre's logic makes so much sense here. She's kind of pulling a Rhysand right now. She's like explaining it very simply. She's like, okay, literally this woman terrified this part of the lands forever. Only one of them took over this whole entire Buckers as in Hybern.
Mm-hmm.
Only one general took over the whole of Prythian and laid waste to it for 50 years. Imagine what a whole brigade of them. They're
full commanders, and then on top of that, the one that commands them all.
It's like, you will not win. We will not win. Everybody will be enslaved, and you need to give us the goddamn book.
Yeah. Otherwise, they'll go, you're right, Prythian isn't your problem. However, we're standing in between you and Hybern. So, they get through us. They're gonna head straight to you, so what then?
And you're not gonna win at all.
No.
We stand a chance together.
Mm-hmm.
Without us, no.
Not at all.
So, I love how, after this very sincere understanding, the old crone says that she's very young and starts to say something, and then Rhys immediately, good boy energy, do not condescend to her.
Do not condescend her. Like, do not say that she's young. Well, she is young, but she's also done a lot more shit than you guys have.
Oh, 100%.
She's done more than sit on her ass in a castle.
He says something which is so great, a tribute to even daily life. Many atrocities have been made for the greater good.
Big sigh.
That's also such like a line, a typical fantasy line, but I know sometimes people think that this book is very cliche, but I actually think against that. I think that there's lines and moments where it can be cliche, but I don't think the overall of it is cliche to me.
Yeah, I think the little bits of I was telling someone this the other day. I think including the cliche is fine as long as it's not the whole thing. Like, little cliches are things that, the readers can latch onto if they ever get lost.
It's like tropes that we all understand that we don't need to explain too much, but also not making it like every other story you've read.
Right.
Making it different enough. I agree. So, that being said, the queens are still fucked. Half the book is staying with us. And then we get Moore's outburst, which, yes, good on her. Also, subtle note of just how the fact that neither of the boys are talking. It is all the women here who are talking.
I love that. Also, I just love the idea of like the boys just being sentinels who are ready to pounce.
Right. Also, technically at the moment they don't really have anything to contribute. If they did, they probably would say something, but I mean, it's not their place.
Right.
Again, I never thought this made any... So, we find out a little bit more about Moore's power. Apparently, she is a truth teller. We never really get what that entails. Like, can she not lie? Does she make people say the truth? I don't think we really know what that power really encompasses. It'd be interesting to see what that means.
You have to be a truth teller.
Which is funny. It's such a call to Azrael. I love Moore's argument here. I don't think this was what I was expecting her to say. So she immediately says that, her power is truth. So maybe that's where the lie came from. At the first of the book, remember they said that there was a misconception about the Fae that they can't lie.
Right.
What if that's about Moore? What if it's like a thing where Moore perpetuated the thing that Fae can't lie?
That would make sense. Kind of twisted, but that would make sense.
Also be something Moore totally would do.
Oh yeah, 100%. She would.
I love how she's like, they should believe her immediately about Rhys's intentions, but they just don't care about it at all. But I think it's more important about what she says, and we'll get into this in the next chapter about who these people are, but very base, she brings up about the fact, is it any coincidence that after 500 years, another mortal is becoming immortal again? So again, we're getting this other name that we've brought up before. Actually, it's a while ago, but we get Miriam again. Remember, she's the human 500 years ago that turned immortal.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of similar to how Feyre, but definitely not the same way. So we get the story later, but what Moore tells them is that, she fought beside Miriam in the Blacklands, which is part of the continent, and she, they freed the slaves there. I just love this dig that Moore gives in her monologue. She's like, I knew your ancestors, and your ancestors would be fucking ashamed of all of you. I see nothing of these women in you.
Hey.
Imagine being called out by somebody that knew your ancestors 500 years ago.
Be like, they were good warriors. I don't know what I'm looking at here.
Because they're definitely not warriors.
Oh, no.
Or at least from what we can tell, they don't seem like they're warriors.
Look at that. Maybe the Golden Queen.
Maybe. She gives a good spirit. So, the most important thing to learn from this is that apparently Miriam is on an island of peace. a secret island where Miriam and Draken, the people that we've heard for, live in harmony with Fae and humans living side by side.
Great, let's go there.
Wild. Because again, we don't really have a place where in Prithian that we've seen, or at least that we've heard of, that has humans and Fae intermingled living together.
Right.
Especially because the wall, that doesn't help.
No.
So yeah, there's this secret island, and so everybody thought, so again, you know, as the readers heard of these names before, but we didn't know that the whole world thought they were dead. So the narrative this whole time is that the whole world thought they died at the end of the last war, saving people. In reality, they've been on this island this whole time and nobody knew about it.
Dang, they were famous.
They were famous and nobody knew that survived. Because I wonder if that place is kind of worded as in kind of how Valaris is. Is that try to go overhead, it won't show that you're going over an island. It'll just ward you away or whatever.
Right.
It would make sense if Rhys helped them guard the city. I would assume so.
Yeah.
Or the island, sorry.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know, Rhys is powerful enough to do that.
So after all this, we get a maybe RSVP Facebook invitation. Them saying,
I love your Tabiisms. Yeah, maybe RSVP.
Well, you know how when you can say like you're interested in an event on Facebook, but like you don't want to say you're going to it? You Facebook RSVP the fucking books exchange. So to prove that Rhysand is a male of peace, because apparently their main problem is him, they ask for proof about his character. Find us proof and we'll give you the... No. They don't... Sorry, I was going to correct myself. They don't say, we'll give you the part of the book. They say, we'll think about it.
It's like, that's bad wording. We already make it specific, and they're... Technically, the book is related to magic, so they're being magic specific.
Those are terrible terms. I know, again, what we subsequently end up going with plan of, but at the same time, there's not a guarantee that if they show this, they will even give them the book at all.
Because they didn't say they would.
No, they literally, the one said, we'll think about it. No. I want your fingerprints. I want I want your social security number. You will put that shit down so that I know we're getting the book if I give this information to you.
Right.
Because what is the only thing that would prove about Rhys's character?
The only place that has remained peaceful.
Valaris.
I was screaming at my phone while reading it. I'm like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it.
We all hate them. We all hate them. And as they're leaving, as they're gone, it's Elaine. Goddamn Elaine, who's like, I hope they all burn in hell.
Dang it.
You know, props to you, girl.
Wait, Elaine's being violent?
Showing some range. We've been wanting some range from her from day one.
Yeah, some emotion.
Good lord. Dude, I fucking hated them so bad. They're just ignorant for no fucking reason. I know that they need some sort of proof, but I feel, again, with the essence of what Moore is and what they know about her, you'd think that she'd be enough. And or that Feyre would.
Right. Feyre's literally was a human.
So, yeah, because why would he give her the time of day? Like, it's like, ew, she was a human. If he was actually bad or prejudiced, he wouldn't want her to be around at all. They're so ignorant for the sake of being ignorant that it's mind-numbing.
It's infuriating.
I was actually looking forward to people that we could hate again. Because we've been around so many good people. I was like, yeah, where are the people to dislike?
Where are the bad people?
Yeah, here they are. Welcome. So, of course, that doesn't really go over well. So they immediately travel back to Valaris, where Amren is waiting for them in the townhouse.
Now who's the dog waiting?
Oh, yeah, hilarious. I love how Rhys immediately, he steps away from them and then, like, walks into the garden or whatever. And then Amren's like, it went well, I take it.
Huh, that seems like it went pretty well.
It's like, yeah, don't play this time. Because again, I want to reiterate this just because I know our audience isn't dumb and I know most readers aren't. I think I needed to reiterate it for myself. Valaris has been protected for 5,000 years. That is a long time.
Yeah.
Imagine being the one person in this whole line of succession of generations to be the one to expose it. Especially to people who don't seem trustworthy in the slightest.
Right. That's a lot of pressure, dude.
But is that the cost of this place versus the cost of... It's like the, not that you would know this reference, but it's like the Game of Thrones reference at the end of the 8th season. We can't keep fighting over this goddamn chair because there might not be a chair to rule from.
Right. I can at least understand, though.
Or the sentiment of, it's like, oh, you know, you want to be on the throne and when you want to rule over people, but you might not have anybody to rule over.
Right.
If this other thing doesn't happen. So as he's he's kind of brooding, and Amren's trying to kind of figure out what's happening. They all sit in the garden, which is kind of funny. I sometimes just love how Feyre brings up, I think it's a good point on Sarah's writing, is that she brings up these subtle moments of, the lies that, were spun about. Imagine all of us fairies sitting on iron chairs.
Right. Oh, the irony.
God damn it.
Oh, I thought about that one real hard.
I love your Lieslisms where I just sigh and roll my eye. You got some good comebacks. God damn it. That
was so bad.
It's okay. Love you anyway.
Ow.
So as Amren's sitting there, nobody's really talking, but she's like, if Rhys is kind of giving her the lowdown, and she says, Feyre was not enough.
Ouch.
I know she didn't mean to say it like that, but of course,
also, ouch.
She immediately but the thing is, she doesn't even get to the end of her thought, and then he says, she is more than enough. So goddamn cute. Because again, he probably heard her thought.
Yeah, she's like, oh, it wasn't enough.
Like, oh, I failed, da-da-da, I'm gonna take it as a personal, damn it.
Everything is wrong about me.
I love how Cassian's first thing is, can pose them. What do you guys think about that? Honestly, I would also be good for killing them too, but yeah, Rhys kind of made a good point. Not only because it would take too long for them.
Yeah.
But also, what if the magic saw through it?
Right.
You don't know how much that would, if this magic is ancient, then I fucking bet that it would probably see right through that anyway. So imagine going through all that, taking that long for it to just, melt away anyway. So if not only, I think it's good to be among people who understand. Feyre isn't the only one who thinks she's, failed.
Right.
Moore thinks she failed too. She's like, oh, I didn't get anywhere, they didn't believe me, da-da-da. She's like, well, let me go to their palace and talk to them, and Azriel's like, nope.
No way.
No, you are not going to that hell trap.
No.
So, Azriel kind of gives us a scoop, though. Apparently, it's booby-trapped, and that it's, a death trap for their kind, which is why he can't get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that intrigues me hella. What? I couldn't even fathom that castle. I wonder what's in there. I'm just so curious. Again, it's one of those things that, SJM knows that I feel like is going to pop up in the future, but that I'm still curious about.
Right.
Again, not pertinent to, this story, but pertinent in the long run. It's why did the Fae protect the castle? Is it because they just wanted to protect the humans? Was it because they wanted to protect the book? I don't know. What else is in there? Good question.
Good question. I don't know.
So, again, in this conversation, I love how Feyre, brings up, because again, she doesn't know the full story, but she's like, why can't we show them Miriam and Draken's play? I feel like that would be proof, right? So, obviously, Rhys says it has nothing to do with his character, so, it'd kind of be useless to show them there, because, he didn't have a part in it.
Right.
Also, it'd be kind of a dick move to, hey, here's their place, and then it's like, oh.
Just kidding.
It would show their friends, and it wouldn't be good.
Right.
So here we finally get the lore, and welcome to lore time. This is so great. I fucking love all this.
We love the lore.
Well, again, because we've heard of these names, and we had no idea who these people were. They were kind of just used as shorthand as, oh, Miriam is another one like Amren and Feyre, who are made.
Mm-hmm.
So in the southern part of the continent, the bottom of Prithian was, but in the bottom of their continent, there was a place called the Blacklands that they brought up, and it was worse than Hybern. It was the worst place to be for a human.
It's dang.
Yeah, that's a lot. Literally, Hybern killed all of his slaves to make a palace of bone. I wonder what this, bit was like.
Bad. Very bad.
So, nobody was born free. And again, this is, pre the 500-year war. So, obviously, of course the humans weren't born free.
Right.
So, she doesn't really have a name, but they call her the Queen of the Blackland, which apparently it made Amarantha look like a goddamn saint.
Dang.
Which, I like to think of it as, I feel not as a saint, but I feel like Amarantha had more of an evil narrative. Because of Clythia, she had, again, she was evil before Clythia, but her brigade against the humans made more sense.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Queen of the Blackland was just, racist, and yeah, I'm evil for the sake of being evil. I feel like Amarantha had more character in that.
Mm-hmm.
So, interesting enough, this is the difference between Amren and I brought this up in our episode when we talked about it. Miriam wasn't a human. She was a half.
Which we haven't really seen that.
We've seen half-breeds between the Fae.
Right.
Rhysand.
But not with a human.
not a human half-breed. That is rare, my man. So Miriam was a half-breed, but because, she was part human, she was born into shackles, and Faye part of her didn't matter.
Of course it didn't, because humans.
Right. Faye didn't want her, and the humans thought, humans didn't like her either because she was part Faye. I just love how I could just imagine this very epic background music of Rhysand and Moore trying to go into the story, and then just a record scratch, and then Amren coming in and basically like, okay, we can say the story later. Here's the cliff note.
Yeah, I love Amren.
I should just be a director on this goddamn series. On the TV series when they make it, I should just be a producer.
Just get the record scratch in there.
It's like, dude, that's such a staple movie thing, or like a TV show thing to do.
It is.
But yeah, so Amren basically interrupts them and is like, so basically, Prince Draken, which he's a prince. Ooh.
Prince, fancy.
Sorry, I choked on myself. And he's also winged.
Oh, a winged prince.
All right, he's already got me. I would love to see a prequel. I know that SJM is not really into prequels, but I would love to see at least like maybe a novella about the 500-Year War.
That'd be so
kind of cool.
I mean, obviously war, not fun, but like it would be cool.
Just to see their story, because it's such a good lore. I mean, good lore it's kind of like the Game of Thrones thing where there's Game of Thrones and now there's House of the Dragon. It's like the prequel to a show.
Right.
The lore is so good that you can have a show on it. But anyway, so basically Prince Draken was betrothed to the Queen of the Blackland, which, yikes.
That seems like a marriage that's gonna fall apart.
Miriam was her wedding gift to him, slave. Just imagine him coming to visit and then just Miriam being in the bedroom and he's like, oh, with her like in a bow or something, like really bad. Yeah, really bad. And then being like, what the fuck is this? And so he was so horrified by that, he let her go. He let her run away.
Yeah, I think I would act that way too.
No, which is good because, again, I bet from Miriam's perspective, she hadn't met a lot of good Fae. So she was probably surprised that Draken let her go. She ran away and she found the rebel encampment where Jurian was staying. And she joined the rebellion, which is cool. And she became a healer at us.
We love a good healer.
And of course, her and, Jurian ended up getting together at some point. Like, they started becoming in a relationship, which, But then, on happenstance, one day, the Seraphim warriors, so those are Draken's legions, right? They allied with the rebels after he broke off the engagement with the Black Lands Queen and joined the rebellion. And she healed him at some point, and she recognized him and whatever, and he said he'd been looking for the slave girl for 3 years.
Just a slave girl. He didn't even know her name.
Probably let her go right away when he saw her. Ugh, it's such a romance. And so, of course, after hearing that, how could you not fall in love with that?
Right.
So, basically, they fell in love behind Jurian's back, which, I mean, Moore steps in and is like, okay, she didn't touch Draken until, like, way after Jurian or so. Well, hilarious. Us not knowing anything about that, but her just, us
stepping
knowing
in as if she was there.
Well, she was.
She was, yeah.
So, anyway, they fell in love. They made everyone believe that they had betrayed Jurian and died liberating the people from the Blacklands. What a good cover-up, though, to not make it so that people would go after them. It makes so much sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, fake your own death, that's why people always do it in the movies.
Right. And so, right, I said this before, and you said it. It doesn't really say anything about his character, since that's what their main problem is. The Queen's, about Rhys's character. Rhys kind of bites the bullet and declares he has to show them Valaris. But we're not letting them come to Valaris. Oh, hell no.
No.
We are going to do something else. So I love how he just says, more ready your father. We're going to the Court of Nightmares tomorrow. We're like, wait, what? Why are we going there for?
Like, why?
So there is this orb that, dude, Rhysand is so smart. Not only is he making sure that Valaris can stay safe in the terms of, like, the Queen's not physically coming to Valaris.
Right, not knowing the direct place that it is.
Or, yeah, the location, yeah. He is taking an orb that the humans know about. Apparently, in this lore, the humans know about this Veritas orb.
Mm-hmm.
So they know about it, so he's using something that the humans know so that he knows that they'll trust it. Smart as fuck. This is great.
Oh, Rhys.
So the Veritas orb is a talisman from Moore's house. Because her magic is truth, it makes sense that her household would have that talisman. So this, again, I think what's so great about this is SJM sets up the Court of Nightmares, one of the most terrible places to go, and that's what everybody in the world thinks. And it's like, yep, we're going there tomorrow night.
It's like, yeah, the place that Under the Mountain was based off of.
Like, yeah, we're going there tomorrow. Plan is they're going to go tomorrow and they're all going to be distractions while Azriel goes and steals the orb. Doesn't ask them, steals it.
Steals it.
Badass, sure.
Asking would take way too long.
I don't feel like, Mor's dad would even have given it to him.
No.
Doesn't seem like a very, how do I say this, rounded individual, so I 100% bet that he wouldn't have done it.
No. If only to spite his daughter.
Oh, 100%. It's like I said, knowing this, he's willing to give up Valaris' secrecy because for damn sure, once the human queens know about this, it isn't secret any longer.
No.
He is willing to give up something that he has been protecting, that not only has been, hidden for 5,000 years, but that he sacrificed all those years under the mountain for.
And now he's just giving it up.
Giving all that up for a shot at peace and to save the world.
Why is he such a good male?
Dude,
it's not fair.
Why is the Night Court the only one preparing for this? The other courts aren't doing jack shit. Why is it Rhys has to be the one to, make all these goddamn decisions? I thought that the first time I read this too, I was like, does nobody see what's going on?
No one cares because they all don't like Rhys.
It was actually funny enough talking about this with my dad, because my dad's rereading, because he's, getting ready for our episode at some point. And he was we were talking about how Tarquin, because again, I forgot halfway through that nobody else believes that a war is going on, or that war is inevitable. Tamlin said it, Tarquin said it. Nobody is readying for war at all. Everybody's fucking blissful as shit.
Of course. Duh.
And what's even worse about the whole Tarquin thing from last episode is that now Tarquin doesn't even believe there's a war to be fought. That was all a ruse just to steal it.
It's well, why do you think they're stealing the book?
And again, they didn't explain and they couldn't explain, and so it's a cluster. But nobody is preparing. They're the only ones doing it, and it sucks that it has to be that Rhys feels like he has to be the one to subtly save the world while everyone else gets the credit.
No, they don't get the credit. He's done it all.
No, we give him the credit now.
He's a good boy.
So, as they're describing about, what they're going to be doing the next day, I love how, this is just a small side note, I love how she constantly keeps bringing up this nightmare moment. Obviously it was a pivotal moment.
It's living rent-free in her mind.
But at the same time, the way she describes this, okay, I have to say it for you guys. I just love how she's nothing, roaring with life and demand. Not in the way it had that night, seeing him kneel on the bed, tattooed and winged. The way it's written, it totally is something I would put at the bottom of my Tinder profile.
It's looking for these men.
Looking for somebody naked, tattooed, winged. Do you fit 2 out of the 3 of these? 3 out of the 3 would be great. 2 out of the 3, even better. Yeah, so I'm now putting that as my Tinder profile. I don't use dating apps too much, but if I was going to have something, that'd probably be it.
That's a pretty good one. I like all 3 of those things.
I couldn't imagine. I'd imagine some cosplayer, then sending me a picture of him and dressed up as Cassian. Okay, I'm in love with you. Let's get married.
Time to get married.
So anyway, digression, but something that's important as she brings up as she's talking about, they all kind of split off before the nighttime. So they all split ways, and she actually walks around Valaris by herself, and she's thinking to herself, I don't know if I'll be able to do this when we tell them. Which I'm thinking to myself, I'm Valaris isn't just going to become unsafe. To me, at least. Because there's still the ward to protect it. It just might be known. I guess I wasn't thinking about it like that. I was, it's still going to be protected at least, but...
I mean, I was definitely thinking along the lines of, they would show Valaris, but, that doesn't necessarily mean they know where Valaris is.
Yeah.
So I wasn't super worried about it. I was just, okay, now they know it exists, and they might go looking for it.
Right. And so it would make it more of a target of potential, but again, the wards are protecting it, so I guess I wasn't super afraid. But anyway, what's important is she starts to walk through the artist quarter, and, this is a big step for her. I think a lot of the theme of this few chapters is Feyre taking a lot of emotional steps.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of, actually changing behavior and or changing how she thinks of herself. She doesn't want to go into the quarter because she doesn't want to fall in love with it for it to be immediately ripped from her. Which, as she's monologuing monologuing that as she's walking, it kind of parallels her own feelings, I feel, towards Rhysand, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's this parallel of if she says anything, what's going to happen? They're immediately going to be going into a wartime. What if something happens where he's ripped from her? So why talk about your feelings at all? Is the mentality that she's having. And I'm like, no, God damn it.
Bad mentality, but okay, I kind of understand it.
Right. So as she's, monologuing, she finally comes back to the townhouse and Rhys is waiting for her in the foyer. And he's debating on whether to ask her to stay tomorrow or not. He's not telling her,
asking.
Mm-hmm. This line, who I have to become tomorrow is not something I want you to see. Honestly, she's seen that under the mountain. Because we all know now that was a ruse.
Right. So she's like, oh yeah, I've seen that before. It's fine.
But he thinks because, honestly, from his perspective, yeah, we are finally seeing Feyre not treat him like a monster or someone to be wary of. Finally treating him like a person. And he doesn't want that to change.
No.
And he says, put you back. I don't want to put you back in that place I found you. Crying. This isn't fun anymore. Because he knows how much under the... I mean, obviously he'd know as much as anyone how much Under the Mountain traumatized her. But, the fact that he said, where I found you.
Where he found her?
Well, technically he found her at Cal and Mai, but...
Well, that don't
neither
count.
here nor there. They didn't really start talking until Under the Mountain. I mean, again, this is also another huge step. Prison, obviously, was a mountain, but this is literally not only going back under a mountain. So it's kind of interesting to see, right? Because we've done it in steps. She freaked out about prison, but she still went. Then she went under, that mountain in the Trove with Tarquin, and she didn't really think about it. Now she's going under a mountain where specifically it was fashioned from, Under the Mountain was fashioned from the Hewn City.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yikes.
So she's literally going to be playing the role of his plaything, which, I mean, is all that she did under the mountain. And he doesn't want to trigger her. But I know, but unlike before, she says, and she gets really close to him, and she's like, I trust. Whoa. That's a claim.
That's a claim. Also, she is Fae now. She's not human.
Right.
And she's not going to be drinking.
Well, and also this, I guess, I mean, especially thinking about it as a practical sense, she's not going to be in danger.
Right.
It might seem like in a flight or flight sense, but Rhysand's going to be there the whole time.
Literally.
Also, she can protect herself, remember? So
she's been training with Cassian and Rhys. I think she can protect herself.
Yeah, so I don't even think she's really worrying about her physical safety.
No.
I think it's more of a mental. So as they're talking, Feyre finally asks, why Mor is so distant. And so we finally learn her backstory. The last person we get to learn about backstory for her. So yes, poor sweet innocent Mor probably had worst of it.
Oh, why is she so cheerful?
So we left off the last time that we talked about her backstory was when, I think it was actually before seeing not seeing the mortal beings. It was before going to the human world the first time. The last part of the story that we know about is that she was disowned by her family. But the important bits that we not forgot about, but that we didn't get before, she was betrothed to be married to Eris, the eldest son of the Autumn Court.
Oof. More.
So, Lucian's oldest brother. Also, holy shit, ew.
Gross.
Also, first of all, when I heard Eris and then I heard Autumn, I was like, grody.
No.
And obviously, he had a reputation for cruelty, which
they all
perfect
do.
person. Yeah, well, yeah, all the Lucian's brothers do.
Ugh.
So when they found out that she was, basically gonna be used as breeding stock, Rhys has the clever idea and the smart thing, he thought that nothing was gonna happen. What a dumb fuck.
Seriously.
Brings her up to the Illyrian camp where a bunch of hot Illyrian guys are there. I can't believe he didn't see this coming.
Yeah, not the best move.
And especially bringing Mor, one of the most
Yeah, pretty Mor.
Yeah, no. So, yes, she sullied herself. She fucked him.
That's how much she didn't want to be with Eris.
One night stand. Because she knew doing that would sully herself for any potential marriage. Also, what if also a fucked up place Cassian into? Did it, but also...
I was like, yeah, Cass didn't quite deserve that.
But also Cassian was a young Illyrian who was hot chick.
Sex?
Yeah. Yeah, hot chick, sex, sure.
Sounds like a good time to me.
Dude, having your first time be with Cassian, that'd be worth it. It'd be worth it.
It'd be interesting.
I don't even care if we'd ever do it again. That would be but more new also. She knew Cass would be a first sex.
A first time.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
A good first time.
But it backfired on her, right? So doing that one thing, Eris refused to marry her, which in hindsight seemed good at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But her family saw that as like a direct attack. And
Right.
so we don't really get too much about it, but they basically tortured her, beat her up, and nailed a note, nail note to her stomach, which I think is supposed to signify the fact that, like, you know, her ovaries or what, she's sullied, so like her ovaries are, it was supposed to be like a symbol or something.
Yeah.
She nailed so her family, remember, nailed a note to her fucking abdomen saying that she was his problem.
Wow.
And left her on the Autumn Court border, and then said Eris left her for dead on the Autumn Court border, just said, okay, and then left.
Great. That's perfect decency.
Well, and also, when I said left for dead, it was like, you know, these are immortals, right? She must have been fucked up so bad that she was, like, close to bleeding out.
Oh, yeah.
Or something.
She had to have been.
So, of course, that's when it makes so much sense. Like, everything is coming together, right? The reason why there's this disconnect, yes. I think Cassian finds more attractive, but it was definitely more of a one-night stand thing.
Oh, yeah.
And why Azriel loves her, seemingly. He saved her. He found her. Ooh, he definitely wanted to kill everyone. Everybody. All of Moore's family, everybody in Autumn.
Badass.
Now the dynamic between them three makes a little bit more sense.
It's still kind of cringy, but yeah, it makes more sense.
Because Moore and Cassian actually did sleep together, whilst as Azriel and her, seemingly, as far as we know, have not.
They're figuring their own issues out.
Right. So, it's true. Happy-go-lucky Moore had the most horrific backstory. But she's still able to smile. That is wild.
That is strength right there.
That inspirational. Again, I know this is just a book, but...
It's not just a book, it's a story.
Yes. Imagine that.
No,
like,
I can't.
It's like, I feel like I can go to work tomorrow, knowing that Moore can somehow get up every day, even with all the stuff that's happened to her. I love it. So at the end of this, obviously, you know, she's tell me what I need to do, and it's very epic. Feyre's definitely getting mad at this, because obviously she sees Moore as a friend, and very much kind of like a sister figure, so obviously she's upset. Her fire starts crackling up, and funny enough, ironically, it's Baron's fire, but she says, not his fire, mine. SJM, goddess, lover. Such a subtle change in ownership. Over these chapters, and since like the very beginning of this, I love this subtle change, because since the first part of this book, it went from, oh, I don't have powers, to, oh, I do, but they're other people's powers, to, okay, well, I'm starting to learn their power, to, no, just because they gave it to me, it's mine now, to do with what I want. And I love this change in confidence, this shift in ownership. Good, subtle writing difference.
Yeah.
So, we then proceed to do the next morning. She's not afraid. She is confident as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
To go to the Hewn City. She's like, we got... Because again, unlike Under the Mountain, another parallel, she's not going alone. She walked in Under the Mountain by herself.
Right.
She's walking in with Moore by her side. With also, you know, because, you know, Moore and her physically walk in together, but then said the three boys come in as well. It's such a different scenario.
It is.
She sees it, too.
She sees her own growth, which is so beautiful.
So, you know, obviously Rhysand's a little bit, you know, I mean, I understand his worrying, because he doesn't want to scare her. Because now, you know, I think people kind of see it. It's not the scariness of the face. It's the scariness of how easy it is to shift in between them.
Yeah. Of like, oh, it is so easy for me to easily become someone else.
And put the mask on.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's that he's more worried about. So this is a famous, well, first of all, this whole chapter, you tell anybody in the fandom the Court of Nightmares, they're just like, yep, we know what you're talking about.
Like, oh yeah, we got you, fam.
So to start off this whole chapter of just greatness, to ease this tension between them as they're flying to the Court of Nightmares, because again, they're actually, if I'm thinking on the map, they're actually pretty far away from each other, which is probably good.
Oh yeah,
that they're so far.
Definitely.
But so apparently, Moore and Amren have told Feyre that there is a rumor rumor amongst the Illyrians that wing size directly correlates to dick size.
Clearly.
Legit, wow. Imagine bringing that up to your crush, just being like, yeah, so, so I heard that, aren't you like a size 13? Saying something like that.
That's
Because
a
their
bit
wings are
forward.
pretty large, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
So we find out also that apparently more in Amryn, Asriel's are the biggest wingspan.
And how do they know that?
I mean, Asriel is gorgeous. Of course they've noticed.
Hmm.
But also, don't tell Liesl about the wingspan because I'm calling you out hella. I immediately knew when you saw that just,
Why shouldn't they tell me about the wingspan?
What if I just actually care about the wings?
It's just an extra bonus that the wingspan has something to do with it.
Care about both, own it.
Yeah, I do. That's great. It's a fun time.
So this is where the iconic thing is where I sent like Liesl a meme a while ago when we were reading this was, Reese is intrigued. He's like, ooh, well, when we get home, let's pull out the measuring stick, shall we?
There's such a great fan art of them like measuring their wings.
Which is like, I actually honestly agree. I think Asriel's is the biggest set wingspan, anything.
Yeah.
But, it's not about the size, how you use it.
But the size can help.
True. Anyway, so I love how subtly, though, he brings up, again, he's saying home again, and she doesn't refute it. She doesn't ever refute it again.
Because she's starting to think of it as home.
And so this banter between them, what'd she say? Oh, it's like, I'll leave you rot the next time you have a nightmare. It's like, nah, you love seeing me naked too much. It's like, truth. Bringing it up. Of course she does.
She can't deny it at this point.
True. Yeah, I was focused on the knees. I'm like, yeah, bitch. Sure.
The knees. You mean what was between the knees?
Ooh, good one, man. That was a good one.
I mean, I would
So
be.
the other important note to bring up is that so this is the first time she's touching his wing. I even knew before this scene even happened, I was like, ooh, I feel like that's a no-go. In terms of touching,
Not touchy.
So she touches like the inside of his wing, and apparently that's a hella androgynous stone.
You mean erogenous.
What did I say?
Androgynous. That's a bit different.
That's a sensitive zone, let's say.
Yeah.
No, I totally butchered that. Dude, the fact that he like shudders from it, to me that felt so powerful. Obviously it's sexy, but at the same time, imagine that.
She has the power over him.
Dude, I'm not a dom. That's badass. That's hella badass. So of course, like he says that it feels like the caress of an ear, like in the ear.
Ooh.
Girl, I'm getting so excited. Dude, this is like the best part of this. I just love the fact that there's so much more foreplay and romance happening. Now we're getting where, because we've built up everything, right? We built up the friendship, we built up the banter. Now we're getting like the bonus of the afterward. And it's just
now
great.
They're turning into friends with benefits.
Which is good, which usually means it's gonna go either one way or the other.
True.
I just love how he equates the whole sensitive thing, or like touching a guy's wings, the equivalency of just grabbing his balls out of nowhere. Just grab it, man. That's my philosophy. I feel like in context, nobody understands what that means. Okay, me and Liesl have an ongoing inside joke.
She likes to say, that if she were in a situation, an intimate situation, she would just grab it.
Again, with consent.
With consent, of course.
I'm not saying I would, just grab a man's balls out of nowhere, but I'm just saying, with consent, grab it. Just go for it, man. Don't think
about it. Just do it.
Don't think, just do it. But it also makes sense that they're protecting their wings if that's something that, it's unlike Reese, Cassie and Asriel can't make their wings disappear, so it's like a part of them.
Right. So if their wings got damaged, they couldn't hide them or whatever.
Right. I think I subtly was, so it's it goes from that to, so during sex, they can find, this is his word, they can find completion just by being touched in the wings the right way.
Dang, that's some heavy foreplay.
Hell yeah. God, power. Anyway, so, this prompts Feyre to then ask, has Reese ever allowed anyone to touch his wings? And he says that he hasn't ever let anybody see them during sex. Totally makes me think that down the line, he will have sex with her with wings out. That was my whole, I was like, because, I'm thinking they're, obviously by the time we get to Starfall, we're hearing, dude, the romance is flying.
Oh yeah. I mean, especially she has the guts to do this right now.
Oh, 100%. He's comfortable enough with her. We've already seen this though.
True.
Where he has his wings out to her in these intimate moments.
True.
We're already seeing it. So I was totally foreseeing this, which is such a good subtle thing. I love when she's just too bad. And then he goes, why? It's like,
he's so cautious.
Yeah, because he's like, I don't want to fall into this trap. Are we talking about us? Or wait, what? So no, Feyre goes with you can get into so many kinds of positions with those wings. Dude, I'm going to hell, man. What is this? So, impromptu, as they're having this very intimate talk and very intimate moment, they get shot at. Out of nowhere. Ash arrows aimed at them. Fuck.
Ash arrows.
Yes, first of all, ash arrows that could very much kill them. 2, who the hell?
Who the hell would dare shoot at Rhys?
So yeah, of course they're mad. So then Cassie and Azriel are flying with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they all land. And so they're gone by the time that they show up.
Right.
And so Rhys is trying to give everybody orders. And then Feyre just shuts it down. She's like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to travel because da-da-da-da-da. And she is giving all these men orders.
Yes, power queen.
And I'm all for it. Yes. It's like, honestly, she kind of made sense though. Because she would know who made the arrows if they had some hint of, because maybe it was Summer. Maybe it was Tarquin. I don't know. She would be able to tell.
No, because, well, true. Also, when she was thinking that it was like someone else like that, it's like, would they really be in the Night Court though?
I thought the whole point of the blood rubies was that if they stepped foot in Summer, they were dead.
Right. It just means that they can't go into Summer. That's literally all it means.
Yeah. I didn't think it was them either. I really just thought it was Hybern. It made sense.
Mm-hmm.
They've already been up in the Night Court when they attacked all those temples, so.
And then they were also the ones following Feyre in the human realm.
Yeah. So, anyway, they bring up, yes, and you're right, this is the second time they knew where Feyre and Rhys would be.
That's sus.
Yep. Outside of Valaris, too, because it's warded. So, we finally get to, because obviously nothing was found, nothing happened, so they meet up at court, and so, like I said, it's very epic. They're walking in. It's Mor and her walking in, and then the boys are gonna come in after them.
Of course, they gotta be more dramatic than the girls.
Right. Of course, I think I didn't really understand what the Hewn City was. I was thinking of, Amarantha's court under the mountain, but apparently this is a whole damn city.
Right.
Like, I'm talking big buildings, bridges, shit, rivers, I think. They even mention rivers in this big monologue.
And it's all underground.
Yes, and it's all underground.
Amarantha couldn't even compare.
Oh, no. If anything, this is actually beautiful in a weird way, compared to the very primitive nature of Under the Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, like, artwork in the rock and whatever, and so, it's just so good. Make it to the throne room, and, like, the fact that Rhys-Anne has a big-ass throne is kind of badass.
He doesn't seem like a throne guy, though.
And again, because this is the time when he'll do it. Not that he actually likes sitting on it, but that it's more of a show than anything.
Right.
Which is why I laugh. Not I laugh at Under the Mountain in a making fun of it way.
Mm-hmm.
I laugh because they're all fooling. It's like Feyre's now on the inside joke, you know? Because they're all playing this persona of being terrible, and then on the inside, they're just like making fun of everybody. Oh, look at how they're freaking out, huh? Like,
oh, did you see how that guy groveled?
Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny. So, as she's, walking around seeing these statues as they're walking into the throne room, she has more painting references, like painting ideas about making the beast that she sees carved into the stone.
I'm so happy for her.
I know, so much more references. And yes, more, a queen who bowed to no one.
Something about the Night Court and how they think about bowing.
I guess, yeah. It makes sense. I mean, especially with what we found out about her backstory, it makes her seem so much more stronger, the fact that she can face them time and time again.
Right.
Even after everything they've done.
That power.
More is awesome. So then we cut to Feyre describing what she's wearing, and she's literally wearing basically what she wore under the mount.
Fun.
The 2 slivers, whatever. She's also wearing another diadem. Okay.
Like, okay, we see you.
I mean, that one makes more sense because she was doing that under the mountain as well.
Right.
I've already went on my fucking rant about that. There it is, another diadem reference. There you go, guys. Again, I just love how the guys are coming in fashionably late as the crowd gathers.
The girls are on time, of course.
Of course. It's funny that we find out, not funny, but we find out Mor's father's name finally. His name's Keir, which he's kind of like, call him a steward. So he's not a lord, but he's a steward.
And yet somehow Mor is the pureblood?
Yep, he's He's a dick, 100%. So I love how Moore introduces this, right? Because so as everybody starts gathering, she's like, he arrives when he wishes to and whatever. Like, they're making everything so theatrical, and that's what makes me laugh. She says something about, like, your High Lord approaches. He's in a foul mood, so I suggest you play the best behavior. We all know that she's just being dramatic for the sake of wanting to scare the shit out of them.
But at the same time, he is kind of in a foul mood because he did just get shot down.
100%. Or he got shot at.
Sure.
She feels Rhys's power before even the mountain literally quakes. Okay, just saying. Find you a guy that makes the mountain Anyway, so actually the boys walk in first, I think.
Yeah, they do.
So Cassie and Azriel walk in full armor. And again, so remember that little tidbit information we found out about the siphons? All the Illyrians get one, right?
Yep. Well, only the most powerful get one.
These motherfuckers have 7.
I mean, we already saw the 3 that they had, the ones on their hands, and like they already had 2 each. So we already thought they were powerful. Nah, they have fucking 7.
They have 7. What the fuck? The fact that most Illyrians only get 1, and then the fact that some maybe, like, very rarely get 2 or 3.
They both have 7. That's another.
Yes. Also, I don't know if Sarah's a BTS fan, but I appreciate the 7 reference. I appreciate the 7 reference.
It's a good riff.
It's a perfect.
It is. We have 7s.
I love the fact that they're just scaring the shit out of everybody. This is great. This is so comedy. And so, as they walk in, powerful as fuck, Rhys also comes in, and remember, similarly to in the first book, when Tamlin let go of his power in the Grove when they were together, this is Rhys-Anne doing that Tamlin did. And his power is full out. Damn, this man is going to kill me every time. And he's also wearing his, like, crown of stars.
Oh.
And everyone immediately kneels.
What a prince.
Please.
Please.
What a king, man.
True.
This is king energy.
It
100%.
is.
The boys are giving prince energy.
True.
So we finally get, the Feyre have to she's playing, and she says this in her own words, she's playing the whore of the High Lord. And I just love the first thing he says is, welcome to my home, Feyre Cursebreaker, while also tilting her head up. As soon as I heard that they're supposed to be pretending to kind of, like, I guess, fucking each other, I told myself there isn't going to be much pretending, is there?
No. You already know that answer. No.
We know, because immediately, he brings her up to the dais and he sits on the throne, and then he perches her on his lap, like, under the mountain. Time she wants to be there. Can I have that seat? I want to be perched on a lap, man. That would be so great.
Maybe someday you'll find a Rhys-Anne that will put you on his lap.
No, I just want to sit on somebody's lap. Not even, like, straddling, just, like, perched on a lap. That's kind of romantic to me. I know in this context it's not romantic, but the idea of being perched on a lap is cute.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking straddling. Your mind went there on its own.
Well, no, I meant... Okay, with where the scene's going, do you fucking blame me?
No.
So, obviously, throughout this whole, interaction that they have, he keeps subtly trying to apologize to her in, physical ways. So, he, like, warms up his hands because, obviously, she's cold as fuck in that non-existent clothes that she's wearing. And the fact that he even apologizes in advance. Oh, what a good man!
What a sweet boy.
So then, Kier comes up dais, and, obviously, I love how he's more scared of Azriel than Cassian. Yeah, he should be.
Yeah.
I think Azriel has had his eye on Kier forever, and he's just waiting.
Definitely waiting for that right moment.
Where he can just fucking kill him. I love how they're incessant. The subtleties of the touch. I don't want to go into, like, every freaking touch that they have. I mean, I could. The subtlety of the touching behind, the ear, the thigh, bro, the, like, circling girl. He says that every male in here is contemplating what they'd be willing to give up in order to get that pretty red mouth of yours on them. And she said she was waiting for the the shyness to creep in, but I was beautiful. I love that. Love that.
Makes the flirty scene even better.
I know, because, she's like, yeah, no, I'm sexy, yeah. Like,
no, I'm actually good.
So Kier starts talking because we're in Feyre's perspective, she is not focusing to what Kier is saying at all.
No, she's a bit preoccupied.
Also, because he's slowly touching her in certain ways. I think he bites her earlobe at some point. Like,
God, also it'd be so hard for Kier to focus.
I mean, I know. I mean, they're doing their job well. Azriel's already gone by this point.
He snuck off to go steal something.
It's like, no, they're doing their job well. So what brings them back into focus is when he brings up about the rumors. He's like, oh, I heard, that she was here, but I didn't know it was true. And ew, Tamlin's pet is now owned by another master.
Ugh.
Ew, what? We already know that's how Kier sees women anyway, so.
That's true.
Because we don't really hear about Moore's mom, at least in, here. She's there, but, he doesn't care about her that much. Also, I just want to say, his touch is definitely, like, making her feel things. It ain't just a physical reaction, bro.
No, this is more than a physical.
Yeah, she's, like, saying, burning up or whatever, and again, it's another amalgamation of just a bunch of sexual tension coming out in one scene.
So spicy.
I love this, though, how she, uses her role, right? He's like, I think Kier says something. I assume you brought her here to make a statement. Everything I do is a statement. Of course, this one it seems you enjoy putting in cobwebs and crowns. And then she says, perhaps I'll put a leash on you. I mean, that's what somebody who'd be like, quote unquote, playing a whore would do to put somebody else in their place because they think they have the authority to do so.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like she does have the authority to do so.
Oh, 100%. She's literally like sitting on his lap. She has some kind of authority.
She's technically on the throne too. But
imagine that, having less authority than the apparent whore on the throne.
This new bitch coming in, it's like, so obviously he like makes Kier go away, like get her some wine or something. Basic, again, like you just said, that she's more important than him. But he like, God, this fucking like back and forth where he does something where he thinks that he might have scared her with something he said, and he like kisses her or something. I think this one he like kissed her behind the earlobe. It's
so cute.
And Feyre finally gets it into her head that Rhys doesn't think he's worth very much at all. That's the reason he's apologizing so much, is because he doesn't think he's worth anything.
Sweet baby.
And so, of course, she twists around and looks at him, and so she opens her shields up. What a good thing to have, though, in a situation like
having Daemati powers.
Yeah, if he wanted to know what she was thinking, he could just go in her mind, or they could go in each other's minds.
Like, they can check on each other easier this way, like consent.
100%. And I love what she says here. This is a right response to this exact scenario. You are good, Reed. You are kind. This mask does not scare me. I see you beneath it. We also love validation, but also that's so romantic. It's what he needed to hear, but it's also, oh my god, she does. Like, she's not freaked out about this at all. If anything, she's loving it, bro. So, of course, what does this make him do? I love how she says it. It was answer enough, but it was also an unleashing. And so girl, I would never, okay, I can't say ever, but the fact that she like widens her legs open and then goes, why'd you stop?
That is some gut.
Also, bro, that's way more, dude, you cannot tell me that's just physical chemistry.
That's chemistry.
Well, it's chemistry, but it's not just like a physical reaction. There's romance tied to this, man. We've talked about this before in like first book, but I just wanted to reiterate again how much I love SJM's whole pooled in my core or something, and she dragged a hand down his thigh, feeling the hidden warrior's length, or sorry. I'm sorry, that's a different book. God, why is it always me that gets caught in this Freudian slip bullshit nonsense? This isn't fair. I don't
remember the hidden warrior's length.
I meant strength, bitch, but I said length instead. Do you blame me though?
She stroked down his leg and felt his hidden warrior length.
That's what I thought it said, and then I had to read it again, and I was like,
no, that's
imagine him just stroking his dick down his pants in front of everybody. Are you composed now? Dude, I've done this twice. This is what Rhysand does to me, man. This isn't funny.
Oh, Anthony. Shall we send this Freudian slip to Anthony?
He would laugh so hard. His hidden warrior's length. I mean, dude, that was totally not on purpose. I literally was reading it and I was gonna...
That's okay, going in your Tabiisms.
Sure, that's fine. Anyway, so, as Liesl has done, like, dying laughing at me. So... Yeah, sorry, warrior strength, apologies, but not sorry. I love how she talks about being so cold and lonely for so long, because I'm not trying to discredit, like, Tamlin's and her whole relationship, because I think it did mean something in the moment, but also, I feel like she's also saying this in a way like she's never really felt like this for anybody, even Tamlin. This very physical burning. Obviously, she was physically attracted to Tamlin, but not like this.
No.
As somebody who is, like, physical touch is such an important part of a relationship for me, being physically comfortable with somebody is really hard.
Yeah.
Because not even just sex. I'm not even talking about sex. I'm just talking about like hugging or just in general being in each other's presence.
Mm-hmm.
If I feel weird about somebody physically, it's gonna immediately turn me off from like any romance if I don't feel physically safe.
Mm-hmm.
So the sexiest thing any guy can do is like the hand on the inner thigh. That's like a not a possessive, but that's like a sexy, okay, she's mine thing.
Claiming move.
Oh, Hunter, yeah. But it's also sexy because keeps like, you know, his hand keeps moving like north, but like close enough, but not like close. And then she does like teasing thing back, which is, dude, this is so funny when this happens. When like she's, you know, squirming or whatever
Mm-hmm.
to fuck with him. But okay, this is where she finds the link, but she's like, so dude, he's hard as fuck.
Yeah.
And it's a compliment, Feyre, trust me.
I mean, most guys probably would be anyway, but especially him.
Oh yeah, like wait, he's in his oxide hand.
Yeah.
If he was in his Illyrian leather, that would have been hilarious.
He wouldn't be able to hide that, that's for sure.
No, yeah. I don't even think he'd be able. Well, she's sitting on him, so I guess it is hidden.
Yeah,
but
except from
so
her.
I guess the thing to note about this is that this whole time that this is happening, Kira's just sitting in the background with like a cup of wine.
He's like,
waiting for them to finish.
Well, they're not done.
They're not going to. This is the start of something new, bitch.
Quoting some High School Musical there.
Yep. So as they're like teetering with each other and like teasing each other, he slides his hand up further. When he curves his fingers in, he feels her. And, of course, there ain't no underwear going on here.
No, not in this one.
And so, I mean, obviously, dude, again, I can I just appreciate how we're doing this explicitly?
Yeah.
Because we're adults. We can talk about this shit. It's not like high school anymore. She is 100% wet when he puts her hand up there.
Mm-hmm.
And she's kind of embarrassed. I mean, I would be too. Like, especially because you're in public. Like, they're already doing something that, like, most people wouldn't be able to do.
Right.
I just hate, though, how he immediately responds and is like, he immediately puts down any sort of attraction. He's just like, oh, it's just your body reacting. Don't worry.
Who are you trying to tell that to?
Yeah, you're definitely saying that about yourself, man.
100%.
So, thank God, or, you know, cock block again. Why is Azrael always cock block, dude? Because Azrael shows up in the shadows, so, you know, the deed is done. He has the Veritas orb, which I wonder where he put it. Maybe he put it in his shadows.
Probably. He probably has access to the in-between as well.
Right.
Just maybe different with his shadows.
So he has the orb, right? So, you know, they can book it now. They can leave.
Yeah.
Their visit is over, or is it? So Moore kind of walks up and checks in with Azrael, and I just want to show that, like, this is kind of their first time touching that I've seen. Because he, like, wraps his hand around her waist, and, you know, they get close, and I think I know it's because they're trying to show that he's been there the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Or to, like, sneak suspicion away.
Right.
But that's important to note.
Yeah.
Something that Feyre says as, you know, asks Kira to come up finally and tells her to go in his mind. He tells her, Cassian's waiting, let's go. And she brings up something really important that I didn't even really think about, is that Rhys might not want to touch another woman, like, ever again.
Right. Because of Unwritten.
I see that point of view, but I don't think ever again.
No. He has a lot more life.
That wasn't something I ever questioned. Obviously, especially with how much he's talking to her like this and how much he's, again, we know this is a ruse, but with how much he's, like, very much liking touching her, there's no way. But she's, again, here's the response of using that as a way to make it something that it's not.
Right.
So, here's another instance of, so, as Feyre is walking down the stairs, here's another instance of, he knew he fucked up. As she walks by Kier, you'll get what's coming to you, whore.
Triggering in many different ways for Rhys.
I feel like he could have gotten away with it if he didn't say whore.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately. Night bursts into the room. Rhys goes full fucking wrathful.
Everyone's like screaming.
He breaks Kier's arm into 4 pieces.
Serves him right.
I mean, yeah, we're all going, yeah. I mean, Feyre's shocked, but she's not scared.
No, she literally just had a guy protect her by breaking arms of another guy.
I think it's more like, and at first I thought it was only his one arm, but it was actually both of them.
Mm-hmm.
It was to protect her, but you're right, it's so multifaceted because it reminds me so much of when they were walking around that first time at the party under the mountain when he heard people calling him whore. He didn't want that to happen to her.
Yeah.
And especially by such an asshole. That doesn't help him either.
An asshole who already hurt more.
I know we're technically supposed to be alarmed by this, about Rhys kind of going full protective feral.
Nah.
But I'm still sitting here like, that's hot, man. That's
That's hot.
You can't, just hot. Is that gonna be my thing now? Maybe I just hot.
Just hot.
That's it. That's on. What else can I say?
Just hot.
So obviously tells Kira to apologize, which obviously he doesn't do at first. He fights it really hard. So Rhys's order is that he can't heal himself.
Ooh.
Or he can't heal. They have to heal on their own.
Such a good order.
And Moore has to ensure it. It's like, hell yeah.
He's gonna have fun with that.
Mm-hmm. I just want to say, again, as we're going into chapter 43, I think I misunderstood why the fight happens in the first place. I thought it was because she was actually scared of what he did. No. It's because she's scared that she wasn't scared.
Yeah.
She is so for him.
Right.
And just worries that why isn't she anymore?
Why isn't she?
Yeah, and then that makes her feel guilty. And especially because of all that talk about her saying that she felt lonely, da-da-da. Even though, yes, Hamlin did a fucked up thing, they never broke up, in a sense.
Right.
I mean, we know they definitely broke up, but on Tamlin's end, I don't think that there was ever a...
He was not aware they broke up.
I get her feeling guilty. But again, it's not like it's been day after, you know?
They're definitely not fucking yet. They waited a bit for that.
And also, it's been months. Because I think Ninsar, Ninsar is Starfall, da-da-da, but I think that was... I'm trying to think in timeline. I'm pretty sure it was like at least a couple months.
I think so.
It's been 3 months. Let's just go with that assumption. That is long enough, man. And also, if we think about it, she was really falling out of love with him, I think, even before.
True.
Even before the immediate end of their relationship, right?
Right.
So I think I misunderstood why the fight happened first, and I just wanted to bring that up to people because I really don't think that's what it was. It wasn't because she was, you scared me being protected. It's literally because she isn't.
She's scared that she's not scared.
Mm-hmm. So obviously they said knee deep in trouble. So instead of winnowing back to Valaris, this scene makes me feel so bad and cringe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where like the heroines have fight before they, get back together.
Mm-hmm.
They gotta fight it out, the misunderstanders, and then understand. So Rhys takes her somewhere outside of Valaris. It's like this mountain lake thing. I think the first time I read this, I thought they were going back to the townhouse. I thought they had this fight up on the roof. I really did. And then I reread it the second time and I went, wait, they're at a mountain lake?
When did they get to the lake?
What did I miss? So no, first time I didn't even think. I love how, this is so sad, but the first thing he says is sorry. This scene is just so raw and stumbling. It's like I love seeing Rhys-Ann when he's not like his swaggering self.
Yeah.
He's like stumbling on his words.
Part of it is because, obviously with all of his different traumas and stuff, and, he obviously doesn't want to hurt Feyre, but that part of it is, he was forced, and so he didn't want to like force someone else. Mm-hmm. So he thinks he has many reasons to apologize.
It's also one of those things where she's seen the goodness in their court, and now she's seeing what the world sees.
Right.
He doesn't want her to think that, he doesn't want her to think less of not only him, but less of him and his friends for how they show themselves. But I think she fundamentally understands why they're doing it.
I agree.
It's like, I think he's misunderstanding that she's understanding the scenario. The death of any relationship, communication, man. Misunderstanding and miscommunication.
Yeah.
Good thing they're getting this out now.
True.
It was her choice to go. He made it very clear about what was going to happen. So technically he can't really be upset if she was upset about what. And the thing is, she's not upset. This whole fight has nothing to do with them touching each other.
They had misunderstandings.
It's the fact that she starts comparing him.
Yeah.
Dude, I felt this immediately. Because when she brought up him at first, it was like, okay. She immediately, I love how her reaction to this is not, oh, I'm not scared of you, da-da-da. It's, don't shut me out of. Her evaluation of this scenario is that Rhys is saying this because now he's going to, like, keep her away and not tell her things.
Right, which she absolutely does not want.
And which is not what he's saying at all.
Miscommunication.
So, obviously, it's hard to shut down his instincts, because again, these are Fey creatures. And he seems to like her. Whether or not we think he's in love with her, or whether or not it's something stronger than that, he definitely likes her.
Yeah.
So, of course, he's going to protect her, and especially at any unseen threat.
Right.
So, he says, I will kill anyone who harms you. I will kill them and take a damn long time doing it. Hot. That's great.
Hot.
Oh, your boy tortures for a living, dude. You can't say shit. You're welcome.
Spicy.
Also, okay, did anyone also notice this in the text that Feyre literally friend-zoned Rhysand? She says, "You're my friend." What the you cannot say that after what you guys just did.
Nope, friends with benefit. They're just friends.
Oh my god. When she said that, I was like, why? It's like reverting.
They're going backwards.
Because she's assuming that Rhys didn't think it was real either. She's just, oh, I don't think he felt the same way. It's like, stop assuming, damn it.
That's all BS.
It's like, stop assuming, stop comparing. And I'm glad that he brings this up. He's like, stop comparing me to him. I am not him.
They're playing the him game.
Yeah, he who shall not be named. I love this. This is the crux of his whole character. He knows how the story, hold on, I have to say the quote, man. You don't think I know how the stories get written? How this story will be written? I am the Dark Lord who stole away the bride of spring. I am a demon and a nightmare, and I will meet a bad end. He was the Golden Prince, the hero who will get to keep you as his reward for not dying of stupidity and arrogance. The things I love have a tendency to be taken from me. Flashback to Under the Mountain.
Right.
He's built up this persona because of what he has to do for his court, but it's also making him feel like he isn't worthy of a happy ending.
Which he is so worthy of a happy ending.
But I love how, again, this is where I was kind of mad at Feyre. She was just like, well, what about my story?
We've been following your story, Feyre.
No, Rhys is... no, but he immediately claps back to her too, and he's like, what do you want? What do you want? And she can't answer that.
Of course.
But dude, this is what hit. This is what hit. Maybe it's easier not to, Rhysand, because what if you did let someone in? And what if they saw everything and still walked? Who could blame them? Who would want to bother with that sort of mess?
Ooh, no. Take it back.
Bro, I feel like I've been in these scenarios where somebody says like something, that really calls out the other person, but I didn't mean to say it like that.
Right.
He flinches from her. Bro.
Oh.
I mean, good thing he still takes her back to the townhouse, but brutal.
Ouch. That makes me so sad.
Because he was opening up to her, and then I don't think it's because of necessarily what he said. That I think the thing that why he flinched is because she read him so easily.
Yeah.
Because he's never really said it out loud that that's how he feels, but
she saw it.
Because they feel the exact same way.
They're peas in a pod. Why are they fighting?
So she goes out in the garden to brood, basically. And so the thing is, she's waiting for him to show up, talk. But of course he doesn't show up. One, because he doesn't probably want to, I think he's scared to see her. He's definitely, hiding. He's running away.
100%. He can't face it.
Because he also doesn't know what to say, right?
Right.
Their traumas are so similar in the sense of feeling like you're not going to be loved for your circumstances. And I love, so basically, Feyre monologues this whole time because up until Starfall, we don't see him at all. He's gone.
He's long gone.
Yep, he is avoiding her like goddamn plague. I love how she brings it up because, especially when you're reading through this the first time, it's like you subtly know it, but until she really says something, it doesn't click, right?
Right.
He's been using him this whole time as a distraction for her to stay safe, and it's rough because I feel like he's been being genuine about it, whilst as her, maybe it's turning genuine now, or maybe it has been genuine, but in the sense of there were definitely times where she's just been using him for safety.
Yeah, he deserves so much more.
I know.
They both do, and they're not going about it very well.
Because they're punishing themselves for what's going on. So, regardless, I love how in this monologue, there's a couple of things to bring up. She finally fucking, actually acknowledges that she was jealous of Cressida.
For a bit.
It's like, okay, good thing you noticed that, because you definitely were.
Yep.
And yes, it is soon after Tamlin, but, does it matter now?
Doesn't seem like it.
Oh, you know how he said something similar about how he wanted to be smiled at?
Oh, yeah.
They were smiled at Tarquin. She thought the same thing. Because again, I don't think also Rhys notices this too. I don't think he's fully smiled at her.
I don't think
he's,
so.
cheek grinned and all that, but I don't think he's fully smiled at her.
No.
Not in the way that she's thinking.
Not in the way she wants.
I'm proud of her, though, for acknowledging all of this at the end, right? She basically now is on the crusade. She wants to tell him that something is going on. She feels something, and whether or not that's going to be just physical or both, I'm going to be leaning on both. I feel like if it would, so in any other book, the only other reason I wouldn't think that if I'm giving an actual practical reason, not just my own projecting, because they've been communicating this whole goddamn book. If they weren't, I'd be like, oh, they're just going to be physical, but no, they've been communicating this. They can't just be physical, not after all this.
No.
So obviously he doesn't return to the townhouse. We find out by Cassian Baratheon that somehow he's been sulking up at House of Wind. Boys. Can I just say, I didn't write this in my notes. Something I love is that I love how everybody else in the inner circle still sees her, like, because she isn't seeing Rhys these couple of days. Like, Tin's still training with her. She's still going to Amren's apartment. Like, it's not like they're just gone too.
Right. Which shows how much she's made friends with everyone.
Yeah, it's like they know that something's going on, but like don't ask about it. So she tries to write him notes and, you know, he doesn't receive them because he doesn't like them. So of course she goes to Amren's apartment, gives her blood again, you know, because Amren's being holed up like a gremlin. I just love how she's like, the reason Rhys bit my head off this morning. So we also find out from Amren that Rhys has been trying to look for the people that attacked them that day. And this is the part where Amren kind of gives us insight, right? Apparently they're able to track Rhys's magic.
Which is...
At first I thought they were tracking Feyre.
Right, that's what I thought too.
And then I was like, oh wait, no, they're tracking Rhys? Interesting.
Because they assume that Feyre is going to be with Rhys.
Right, because, I mean, honestly, they're kind of right at that. We also learned from Amren. I love how, I mean, honestly, Amren's kind of being her second duty now that I'm thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
She's telling them what is going to happen. Rhys has made the decision that after Starfall, they're going to go up to the Illyrian war camp in 2 days, which, from what we know about the Illyrian war camps, I don't think I'm going to be looking forward to that.
No, from what we've heard has happened.
I don't think that's going to be too great, but okay. Why are we going up there? I think she said something to regroup and then fly down when the humans are ready, or Dane, or whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, Starfall, my favorite part, maybe of this section, but maybe also of the book, is one of the highlights.
It's so...
Honestly, there's so many iconic moments in these chapters alone.
Yeah.
Starfall is the icon of everything.
Yes.
So Amren gives us the history. Obviously, it's the Ninsar holiday, but only in the Night Court does Starfall occur.
So special.
And I love how nobody really tells her what it is, though. It's kind of...
Again, no one's telling her what it is.
Hopefully this one ends up with Rhys not fucking some random chick. I would hope not. Very random. I was thinking about this when we did our episode on when Amren told Feyre that they didn't have tithe.
Mm-hmm.
I assumed that Calanmai was in every court. I wonder if because they don't have a tithe, does that mean that they don't have Calanmai in every court? Unless Calanmai is just a spring thing. But I don't think it was, because the whole point of Calanmai was to regenerate the magic.
Right.
That's an interesting question, SJM, where can we talk to her?
It was like the thing that, Tamlin told Feyre that every court did the tithe.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, wait, when is Rhysand going to have to fuck some random girl? Because I kind of want to know when that date... I'm not prepared
for that.
But I don't think so. If it's a choice, then I feel like that makes the whole thing with Tamlin much worse.
It does.
The fact
He's
that
using it as an excuse.
He made it seem like it was something that had to occur.
Right.
But I don't think
so.
But anyway, I know, sorry. That was a small side progression, but that made me think about that. Hey, in the comments, if you think it's just a spree thing, or do some of you know something that we don't know, please let us know.
Yeah, we'd appreciate it.
So... I love this moment with Amren. I love when Amren starts spitting truth out, because it's so special.
Yeah.
I have to say it verbatim, dude. When Rhys came back after Amarantha, he was a ghost. He pretended he wasn't, but he was. You made him come alive again. Is that funny that she was saying the exact same thing about herself with him? She felt like she was alive with him. Ding, ding, ding. All the good flags coming about.
And yet they're still on no talking terms at the moment.
Right. He's lucky to have you all, Feyre said. No. Gentler than I've ever seen Amren. We are lucky to have him, Feyre. I have known many high lords, but never one that dreamed. Not as he does.
And boy, does he dream.
And again, he thinks he'll be remembered as the villain in the story, but she says, I forgot to tell him. The villain is usually the person who locks up the maiden and throws away the key. He was the one who let me out. Yeah. That is such a good comeback. Yeah, and you know what? I didn't even think about that. That is a good way of saying that. Yeah, because usually in those stories, they do lock them up.
Not here.
This is fucking great. This is 10 out of 10 great writing, bro. This book is flawless. I'm just saying. I think this made me fall in love with SJM just in general. Whole book. Obviously, ACOTAR did that, set it up for me, and it's gonna forever be like the starting book, but this solidified everything.
Yeah.
Her foreshadowing, her writing of bringing up subtleties throughout like the entire theme. She tries to message him again, and it doesn't really go too well. Because then at the end, she calls him a hateful coward, which under no uncertain terms would make anybody laugh. Ooh, damn.
Getting angry.
So we finally get to the last chapter, the evening of Starfall. This dress is iconic.
Yes, it is.
This starlight dress, this liquid starlight dress that she's wearing. Love it, 10 out of 10. You could see in any fucking post, there's so many people who've tried to recreate this dress.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still looking for one that would be good for me. I think the important thing to bring up about this explanation is that the fullness to her body has, she's filled out, she's muscled, and it's physically, she's all better now.
All better.
It's one of those things where, like I told you, I think it was like the first episode of the season. Physical looks also so much match mental and emotional.
That's true.
Like, you know, if you're really going through like emotional mental trauma, like your body's gonna show that.
Yeah.
In some way. So this should already be green flag. So anyway, Noelle and Cara Dwayne dress her up in this very elegant Starfall. And so she's expecting Rhys to come to the townhouse and pick her up so that they're having the party at the top of the House of Wind.
Yep.
Not only is the House of Wind headquarters, but it's also party central.
Apparently. I mean, it's a big space. That makes sense.
Can I just say, before we get into this, I thought it was just going to be them. The fact that there was like a bunch of people at this party, I was like, who the fuck are these people?
How did they get up there?
Is there like an exclusive list of, or is it anybody that can climb up the 10,000 steps are able to be at the party?
Dang.
Because
I think they've earned it if they climb up the steps.
In a dress, like in heels.
Oof.
So you either have to get a hot Illyrian warrior to fly you up there. You have to climb the 10,000 steps.
I know my choice.
I mean, I would like to go with the first option, but to go to a Starfall dance, you better fucking believe I would go up those 10,000 steps.
Oh, yeah.
I love how when she goes up to the roof, she's disappointed to see that it's Cassian.
She's like, oh.
The last Cassian is amazing, Feyre. I mean, I know that you're into Rhys, but also the fact that Cassian brushed his hair and he's actually out of his Illyrian leathers.
It's a miracle.
Don't even stop. Don't tell me he looks like he's in like nice clothes.
He dressed up a bit.
If he's wearing just even a polo and black pants, I'd jump at him. I mean, he's hot in his Illyrian leathers too, but...
No, he gives me the vibes of having like, you know, like slacks and then like the white button-up shirt, but it's like opened, unbuttoned for most of the way down.
Stop. And Azriel's just in all black.
Yeah, of course. Very much.
Ooh, with the sleeves pulled up. This is what Starfall does to me, bro. Yeah, he like whistles when she walks up.
We love Jess. He can be so appreciative.
He's such a bro. He's such a brother to her. I should have let the twins dress me up.
They would have.
Oh yeah. I just love their banter. Again, I love how Rhysand's and hers relationship isn't dependent on theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're kind of in a little spat that doesn't last long, and somebody is still there to take her where she needs to be.
Right.
So they finally make it up to the top on the House of Wind, and you know, all these people are there, random people that we don't know.
Scary.
Yeah, people. Yeah, because she hasn't really interacted with others despite them. So no sign of Rhysand yet. You know, we'll talk to Cassian, and then she finally spots Mor, and she's like, okay, let's go towards her. So Mor comes up. I could just see this moment getting played out, right? As Mor walks up and Cassian walks over to Azriel and these friends that they're standing by, Azriel is just staring at Mor's ass.
Unabashedly.
You know, love that for him. Like, you know what? Go off, man. Go off, Azriel. You need to have some
a fun
light
night
in your life.
Yeah.
Finally tell her. So, yes, sorry, what was I trying to say? Yes, so, you know, the event or whatever is going to be happening soon. And apparently Amren's hiding in the attic. Like, she's not coming out.
She's hiding in an attic.
So apparently this is very much a sus vibe to me. I just want to bring it up. Like, we don't understand it, but something apparently to Amren about Starfall disturbed her.
Which is kind of weird.
And I don't know why. I mean, actually, with what we know Starfall is, I wonder if maybe she can feel the souls.
Ooh.
Something. Because remember you said that you thought that she was maybe somebody who sucked souls or something? What if that's a thing? What if she can feel them or hear them? So, what's funny is that I just love how Mor feels like she can pry about the whole Cassian and Mor thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Moore's pretty okay with telling her. Like, I mean, we get more to her backstory, the more of her side of it.
Right.
So Moore tells Feyre that Rhys took her up to the war camps. Her, Moore, and Asriel and Cass became friends. She knew going up to that camp that she wanted to choose somebody to take her virginity.
She knew she was not coming back a virgin.
100%. Dumb fuck Rhys. What?
Dumb move.
Also, best movie probably could have done in the long run. Not in that moment.
No.
So she chose between the best warriors because she knew Cassian would be a great warrior. She wanted one of her first times to be with one of the Estelirians, which she did. Huh? She couldn't have fucked Asriel Liesl because he would have been
way too personally.
Yeah, like I feel like it's more. This is just my presumption. I feel like Cassian is easier to be just like, okay, we screwed once, okay, versus Asriel take it and run with it.
Right. Cass is just like, cool, sick, great.
Okay, we did a thing, sure. So apparently it's so famous that they call it the incident where Rhys and Cassian fought so badly.
Oof.
And Asriel was not too happy either.
Makes sense.
So she doesn't obviously tell her about the nail in the abdomen, but Moore feels her abdomen like she remembers, and I'm like, oh, you fucks.
Damn it. She's definitely traumatized there.
Mm-hmm. So we get from Feyre's prying, Moore is not into Cassian at all. I mean, yes, they fucked once, but they're not lovers.
There's
They've had lovers.
A fling, a one night.
Yes. I mean, I think they find each other mutually attractive. They're not going to want to be with each other.
Right.
Well, she also says she would never do that because it's also, bro code.
Bro code.
Rhys is like brother to her, like an actual physical brother. Kind of bad if dated one of the brother's friends.
Yeah.
I love what she says, where it's just like, Cassian just wants what he can't have. She's totally making fun of him, even though I don't think he thinks that way at all. It's like messing with a friend. And then Rhysand just appears. Oh, it drives him insane. Where the fuck have you been? Dude, that would be my 100% reaction. Just like, okay, just showing up out of nowhere, you looking good and all that.
But also, you've been avoiding me. Where you been?
Yeah, let's fight. No. It's like, I guess he needed time, I guess.
Well,
this kind of reminded me of Tamlin, but not like in a bad way, but he's just like, you look like a woman again. It's like, wow. Where's like, wow, you really know how to flirt, cousin. Good lord.
The thing is, though, it would still work on Feyre.
Oh, I mean, it worked on me. If I'm any indication. Well, his white button-up shirt is unbuttoned. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
He said, I wasn't punishing you, I just needed time. Okay. The fact that he comes up behind her and look up. Romantic. Because guess what? Starfall is just like basically a meteor shower.
With spirits instead of meteors.
It looks at first like it's a bunch of stars, which looks amazing as fuck. I would love to see this.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminds me of like an Aurora Borealis thing, but like instead of just an actual meteor shower. But yes, we learn later that obviously the stars are not actually stars, they're spirits. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. We're kind of setting the scene where Rhys and Feyre are standing next to each other. Real. I love how Feyre looks at Rhys, and it's the idea of not being able to do this again. Because like something Amren said the day before that I didn't really bring up was that they said, we're also getting to the end of the book, right? We're like, what, 430 pages in? Like, this is only a 600-page book. We're getting to the point where maybe these celebrations are not going to happen as often.
Because war's coming.
Mm-hmm. And so the idea of that, this might be the last quote-unquote celebration that they have in a while together at home.
Right.
The fact that, okay, anytime, okay, before I get ahead of myself, he says, as he's looking at stars, cascading over them, setting the scene, he's like, come, there's a better view, quieter. Anytime a man, prince, whatever the fuck, says there's a quote-unquote better view, you know that motherfucker is in love with you. He wants to lead you away, and he knows a better place. It is textbook.
The better view means that he wants to take you away somewhere private so he can look at you.
I love it! Because it's totally that, drama moment of her looking up at the stars and just like, it's so beautiful, and then he's like, it is. And then she looked, and he's looking at her.
Yeah.
Damn it. Okay, any guys listening to this, we're giving you all the information. Just do this. You'll have women wrapped around your goddamn
take them to a Starfall ball, and let them look up at the spirit from a better view.
Yeah. Take a woman on a balcony somewhere and have an actual romantic conversation. You will get laid.
Most likely, yeah.
Have a conversation, damn it. I want to know you have more than one brain cell.
Put that in your Tinder profile, too.
More than one brain cell, naked, tattooed, winged. That's it. Being able to hold a conversation. So anyway, I just also, you love a balcony.
I love
This
this
is
scene
iconic.
so much. It makes me so happy.
It is perfect, but also at the same time, not so cliche that I'm like, ugh, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. I love this banter. Just this banter of like, you know, her looking over the railing and then her thinking she's gonna fall and he's like, you know I'd catch you, right? I'm glad you hear my absence felt like punishment. Maybe.
Maybe. So he was looking at her notes.
I love how they both admit they said horrible things.
Mm-hmm.
They both apologize and take responsibility. Nobody's blaming the other person. We both said some things we regret. They might have been true, not in the way that was meant to be said. Communication. It's very, sometimes, I think, before, you know, in like Twilight book or, you know, again, we all love those stories, but this kind of communication, this level of responsibility being taken is good relationship goal.
Oh, yeah.
It's something that you'd strive for more than, like, let's say, Edward and Bella, Damon and Elena, if we're thinking of Vampire Diaries. So, Rhys describes, as Liesl said before, they're not stars. They're spirits on a yearly migration somewhere else. We don't know. So that gave me a big, like, red flag sus vibe. Like, spirits? Worlds? Quote about, God, Rhys is such a romantic. With thousands of stars being pulled away, he says, why does anything cling to something? Maybe they love wherever they're going so much that it's worth. Maybe they'll keep coming back until there's only one star left. Maybe that one star will make the trip forever, out of the hope that someday, if it keeps coming back enough, another star will find it again.
Beautiful.
That's such a nod to him.
It is. It is.
Of feeling like he's in this constant state of affairs, especially with, I don't know, selling himself? Selling himself's the wrong way to say that, but like...
But similar, of like putting himself first, or not putting himself first.
When it comes to romance with Feyre, it seems like this is the first time he's actually choosing something.
Right.
And it's romantic, and I love it. We get, obviously, you know, we can't have a moment without there being a little bit of sadness to it. He's triggered because every Starfall, Amarantha knew, because apparently everybody in Prythian knows about Starfall. She made him, for that 50 years, service her in bed all night so that he wouldn't see it, or that couldn't celebrate or be by himself or whatever.
It's so brutal.
Fuck.
It makes me want to, like, I'm actually tearing up.
Oh, I mean, you're allowed. The others don't know about it. It's like, of course he doesn't want to tell them. I see why he doesn't want to, especially in this moment. Why?
Right. They're all having fun. Don't bring it down.
But telling them at some point, yes, needs to. But the fact that he feels like he can talk to her about it is in itself great. God. Again, even though I gave Amarantha praise in certain ways of being a good villain, I wasn't saying that she's a good person. I'm saying she's a good villain. That this bitch is still lingering. Again, in a lot of other fantasies I've read, I don't know about you, but once they finished the first villain, like, they never really talked about him again. Maybe in shorthand sometimes, but the fact that she has a longing presence.
It makes it more realistic in terms of trauma.
Yeah. SJM with trauma, man. She knows it. She understands. And make it realistic. But the, iconic. The sadness doesn't last for long because they're kind of close to each other on the railing, and then all of a sudden, a spirit star splattered in her eye.
Just like hit the side of her face.
Which kind of gross if you think about it. It's like, wait.
But like it was glowing.
Yeah, the best highlighter you could have ever gotten. But at the same time, like, ew.
We think. And also that just killed a spirit.
Yeah, that spirit can no longer move. The fact that Rhys let out a whole laugh, belly laugh.
It's probably been forever since he's done one of those.
I know. And she's like, I could have been That's like every guy with a girl where they get something on them and it's like, don't laugh at me, da da da. Like,
yeah.
Immediately she sidesteps him and then he flips around and then he gets one in his face.
Karma.
Hilarious. And so he immediately stops laughing, but then she bursts out laughing. And this is the first time she's laughing with him, or probably even laugh. Honestly, this is the first time she's laughing since Amrit. And even then, that was like kind of like a weird laugh. It wasn't a funny laugh. It was one of those, can you believe we fucking just did that? Like,
right. Versus now this is funny laugh and he's, ooh.
Dude, she takes his hand and paints Star with Starlight on his hand. She painted
her first painting and it was on him.
Beautiful. Dude, I'm gonna start crying, man. It's like all good step, laughing, smiling, and the iconic, his fingers tightened on mine and I looked up, he was smiling at me, so un-High Lord-like. Smile again. You're exquisite. A man being able to say, not just You're exquisite. Yeah, no, this is over. We're gonna be together. This is it. Beautiful. We stand. Dude, this is amazing. Okay, what a perfect scenario for her to just, I could just imagine them being like real close about kiss, and then her being like, thought for a thought, or sorry, you owe me 2 thoughts. Do you want me to tell you like what's really on my mind? Or like, or, because I feel like one of them was just going to be like, no, I want to take you back to the townhouse and,
Probably.
So, yes, she does owe him. Remember, I think she gave him 5 thoughts while he gave her 3.
Yeah.
Something. You owe me 2 thoughts. He rubbed the back of his neck like every dude. He 100% was going to say something else. He tells her why he didn't speak to her. I figured hiding was a better alternative because I'm convinced throw me out on my ass. Yeah.
She would. But also, it's no use hiding from her. She's a hunter.
Oh, yeah. If she could make it up the 10,000 steps without dying, I'm pretty sure she would have done it.
She would have just asked Cass to take her up.
She's like, come on, man. I want to talk to him. The second thought, this one kind of threw me. I think I knew he did, but I didn't think that was going to be a second thought, was the fact that he said he wishes he could take the first kiss from under the mountain back. Wait, why? Because I thought it was pretty good. There was tongue. So,
because of the situation it was in.
I know. I'm just saying in hindsight, it wasn't too bad. But yeah, I have a theory that was him thinking that was going to be the only time he was ever going to her. That's why he for it. Rhysand's kiss had been brutal, demanding, and yet why? Because I didn't make it pleasant for you and I was jealous and pissed off. Let's not gloss over that.
Jealous?
Pissed off?
At the fact that she was making out with Tamlin?
That's meaning in hindsight, he was pissed off and jealous. Not that he's pissed off and jealous now. Reason he kissed her in the moment was because he was pissed off and jealous.
Well, he was jealous of them making out and then pissed off at Tamlin.
What do you mean you were jealous then, my dude?
Rhys can be a very jealous guy.
Oh, 100%. My flag was that, well, and obviously we can't forget that the High Lords thing is literally, they are the most alpha male.
That's true.
And like, that's literally what they're bred for. So the fact that he's really fighting his instincts, I don't want to sound like an Edward. He's really fighting his instincts here when it comes to, because he knows how much freedom she needs. Yeah, but yeah, I didn't want to gloss over that. He said jealous and pissed off in the moment. What does that mean? We don't know. And he doesn't elaborate. So the end of this is, she's looking up at him and he, honesty and truth. I'd never had that with any. Do you want to dance me? She's asking him to dance? Hell yeah, baby. I think he was actually legit shocked that she said that.
She keeps shocking him and surprising him.
But he's like, you want to dance with me? But she's like down there with them. And then we get the iconic quote that you said for our first of the episode. I didn't mind stepping out of the shadows, did not mind being in the shadows with him to begin with. As long as he was with me, my friend. There's so many dangers and had fought for me when no one else would, even myself. Beautiful. He's like, of course I'll dance with you. Yeah. Like, he's like, all night if you wish.
An eager puppy much.
And he kisses her cheek. This is the time that he's kissing her cheek. I'm very glad I met you, Feyre. What a thing to say to somebody. That's such a... Out of all the things he could have said, that was probably perfect. Because, good God, we got to the end of Starfall. Jesus Christ. I hate to have to end there, but also the succeeding chapters after this. Because this is like catalyst, right? The catalyst for the romance, right? Under no uncertain terms, they're kind of like open to it. But they never really...
Right.
I just love how she also refers to him as a friend. Because maybe that's something about when we think about romance, but that's always a fundamental thing to have. It's friendship.
Like, it can't just be love. Like, you have to have friendship in it.
Yeah, because what else are you going to talk about?
You can't talk about love all the time.
Or would you would just have a purely physical relationship.
Right. That's another option.
Don't want that. At least in some romance type. So, we finally got done with the chapters for today. So now it's our little, if you want to skip this, you can. But for the people who have listened to the graphic audio, I wanted to go over a couple of things before we end today. We're going to call it our Tally's graphic audio moment. That's our names put together. Our ship name. Oh God. Yeah. Our graphic audio corner for the people who like the graphic audio.
I like graphic audio corner.
First of all, God damn it, Anthony. Anthony, you fucking menace. This whole time I had to pause. I had to refigure my note because I was like, what? Anytime he talks, anytime there's like a sense of, and we told him this in his interview, his ability to go from, I mean, obviously this is a character and he's doing it really well. To where he's going from, very playful Rhysand to vulnerable Rhysand to shaky Rhysand, Court of Nightmares Rhysand. There's so many facets and I see them all. a couple of big moments I really wanted to bring up were, I mean, obviously, Court of Nightmares in a nutshell was fun, rough, and also fun.
I think Feyre would agree.
And Melody also did a really good job of, especially in those moments where Feyre was saying, when she became more sensual, confident, the voice also became like way sensual. It was like, yeah, dude, I'm living for this. I think the biggest graphic audio moment though was it was the whole touching the wing scene. And the moan and just the subsequent, like, it was a
shiver.
I was like, and then what was so comedic about that was then when like Rhysand breathed into Feyre's ear, Melody was just like, the way that it came across was just like, okay, that's what it was.
That's okay, I understand it now.
I think also, because we actually got a new, graphic audio moment with the queens, because it was the first time us hearing their voices. Hated the Ancient One. Ancient One fucking was great.
Good voice, but like, still hate her.
Such a grating voice.
Yeah.
Again, I love John in every instance, especially like the whistle at the end with Starfall, where he's like, he always sounds so sensual, but I know he's not being sensual to Feyre. That's just his character.
He's just being a brother.
And it's like, okay, stop saying things in a second. I will say the thing that we brought up about the naked, tattooed, and winged. The reason I said that about like whole Tinder profile was because the way Melody said it. It was very much like listing, like we just did. It was like, he's naked, tattooed, and winged. Like she said it so list-like.
Like I have that in my head, just naked, tattooed, and winged.
So that's what made me think it was just like, that's gonna be it.
And has more than one brain cell and can hold a conversation.
Right, correct. I think also another graphic audio moment during the Court of Nightmares that wasn't necessarily like the sexual moments was, we heard Kyr's voice, also great voice, totally grating as well, was the music. Because the music from like Colleen Delaney, the director or whatever, almost, it was a little bit different, but it was similar music to Under the Mountain, set the scene for me again into this atmosphere. And so especially as they're walking in, you hear the music in the background. It's just a really subtle thing to have like in it that it sets the scene really well. And then of course Kyr's arm getting broken was hilarious. The guy screaming in pain and you just hearing the bones crack was very funny.
He deserved it.
Brutal. Obviously the whole fight scene was so raw and so tender. Anthony's voice shook when he said like the first lines, like of, I think it was specifically the one about, I didn't want you to see that part of us. I almost cried, bro. It was so sad. I was like, I just wanted to give him a hug, man. But then of course, like the subs, like, I will kill anyone who harms you. Like he just immediately got angry and it's like, whoa, dang.
Roller coaster of emotions.
Hot, babe. Sorry. And then even in the moments of like, maybe this is like the director and the producers and the music coordinators, but even in the moments, because there was a lot of monologuing in these, especially montages and all that, it set it up so well to where the background music was not too loud, but enough to where, the element of time passing. And that happened a lot. And also, I just love Amren's voice actor also specifically. Well, Amren and Nesta badass at that first. I know I'm all over the place. I'll do this better next. This is our first time doing it, so I'm a little bit I'll have it better next time. Yeah, so Nesta and Amren's voices also are like really, really great. And especially when Amren gets sentimental, like you can totally hear it. And I just love that as an acting choice. And then obviously Starfall. I didn't know how they would do it because I was like, are they just gonna have the sounds? But yeah, like you felt this, you heard these like shooting stars pass by. And then obviously you hear the whole like splatter and the laughter, and God, Anthony's laugh is so sexy.
Contagious.
Stop.
Stop laughing. Don't be happy.
Stop. Do not. Even when we were talking to him, I was just like, damn it, his laugh is so deep.
Yeah, so I think I was actually fairly surprised. I hadn't really listened to the graphic audio all the way up to the Court of Nightmares scene. It was a little bit different listening after we had talked with Anthony, because Anthony was such a sweet guy and, is such a sweet guy. And it was very difficult actually for me to listen to the Court of Nightmares scene after knowing Anthony first, because I'm like, wait, how this doesn't compute. How does this nice guy sound like this?
Which is why it made sense why I was so fangirling.
Exactly.
Because I had the reverse effect.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to hear the scene first and then talk to him, which is a whole other level. But like, honestly, I'm all for it.
No, it's great. I mean, this is why, I mean, I didn't even think the graphic was going to be like an important part of our podcast. I thought the graphic wouldn't be important, not important in the sense that wasn't something we were going to cover.
You brought it up in every single episode.
You know, I like bridging like the gaps because some people don't like reading a book. And
Between
the fact
worlds.
that, true, the graphic is another way for people who don't really want to read the book, but like the movie style, because sometimes even a regular audiobook can bore the fuck out of people.
Yeah, some people can't do that.
This is why we bring it up, because it's important in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm excited for this tally graphic corner, or however we're going to call it. Put in the comments what you think would be a good name.
Or let us know if like you think this actually work, if this makes more sense for us to put all the graphic audio at the end.
Yeah, please, because I think, I was gonna, thank you. You were telepathy in the mind. Thank you guys so much. This is the end of the episode. Please tell us if you like this structure, you liked the intro, liked this sort of, recap, then deep dive, then graphic moment. Because I know sometimes having the graphic kind of sparse throughout could confuse some people who don't listen to it. And I want to be, all encompassing, but I also don't want to confuse people. Please let us know if this structure I felt good about it. I felt like this, in a weird way, I felt like this felt the most professional we've ever done.
Yeah, it definitely felt like we were very seamless, and honestly, we digressed a little bit less because we were just like sticking with it and then knowing that we would come back for the graphic audio at the end.
And for people who like our digressions, we'll definitely do that during, I don't want to say smaller sections, but the ones that don't have as much like this did. We're still planning to do those fun things, but also when we're doing big sections like this, it takes a lot of time.
It's a lot of stuff to get through.
Balancing, right? So I hope you guys appreciate, us structuring it, and I hope you guys like it. Please let us know if that's something. Our next episode will be the mini chapter that Sarah wrote called Wings and Embers for Court of Mist and Fury. So it's like the small chapter she wrote outside of it. So it's a spoiler in a way, but not the whole series. You just have to have read the whole A Court of Mist and Fury to watch or listen to the episode. It will focus on the moment when, during our episode today, actually, subtly did that in a good way, when those couple of weeks when Feyre company were kind of just around Valaris and Cassian went a couple times to the mortal realm. Nesta and Cassian's interaction after he comes back and he's really pissed. So
when Feyre specifically notices that he's riled up. So we get to actually learn why he gets riled up.
So buckle up for that. So that'll be a really good time. We'll see some of you in that next mini episode, and if not, we'll see you in the next main episode where we'll talk about chapters 45 through the end of 51, which we have the inn scene. We have the Illyrian. We go to the Illyrian camp finally.
Mm-hmm.
Buckle up for that. Let's go in with no expectations.
Very low expectations.
Very, because now we've started something. So we hope you guys enjoyed. Have a wonderful evening, day, morning, whenever you're watching this. And do you have anything to say to the people before we go?
Nope. I'm having fun. I'm so excited for the next episode.
I know, this will be great. It's been a while since we've had our own mini episode.
I know.
Though we love the people, we love interviewing, but at the same time, we haven't had a mini episode to ourselves.
We haven't had a time to fangirl properly.
We'll see you guys all in whichever episode we go to next. So bye, guys.
Bye.